Hello, welcome back to our Friday Night Live. My Wi-Fi today might be a little bit blurry and choppy and just bad. So I'm currently in a rental and we're working on improving the Wi-Fi. So bear with me tonight. Hopefully it'll get fixed by next week. But welcome. Let us know. Hi, Andy. Hi, Anna. Let us know where you all are hopping on from tonight. Put that in the live chat box. Yes, I'm back. Hello, Ecto. Hi, Hector. Let me first introduce my friends here today. This is Jennelle, Todd, and Raymond. If we all don't mind sharing a little bit about our story, starting with you.
Hi, my name's Jennelle. I was a vegan for 8 years, and I've been carnivore for a bit over 2 months now, and I was animal-based for like 5, but been eating animal foods for about 5-6 years now, since 2019.
Nice.
I posted a video with Jennelle on my channel. Check it out. We talk a lot about her current carnivore progress and her results so far. Raymond, introduce yourself.
Yeah, so I'm Raymond Nazon. Been carnivore for 7 years, and I've had a slew of issues that it has resolved. I was obese, morbidly obese, actually, not just obese. Sleep apnea issues, diverticulitis, heel spur, plantar fasciitis, lots of pain. I mean, I was to the point where I was contemplating of not being here anymore. Just to get away from the pain. But all of that not only resolved, but I've never had this kind of quality of life before. I've never felt so clear-minded to the point where I'm just, I don't know, I've just never lived a life that felt this good. So I'm very happy that the carnivore diet has given me that. It's got kind of given me more of a spiritual approach now because of it. Todd?
Yeah, let's see. Todd, my name's Todd. I'm 41 years old. This is my 23rd month of carnivore. Just was real sick. I was over 700 pounds. I'm down 310 pounds now in 23 months off all medications. I was oxygen dependent before. Had anxiety, depression, sleep apnea, reactive airway disease. Serious lymphedema problems. Was always fought weight, was 600 pounds when I was 14 years old, just always fighting it. Insulin resistance, just everything. Had a long list of things. And this 23-month carnivore turnaround has made me a new person. I mean, it really gave me a new life. So
congratulations to all of you guys. Todd, how's my audio? Is it okay?
Your audio is good. You sound a little far away.
You're looking good.
If I am closer, is that better? Is it the microphone?
No, that is better. That is better. Yep.
No. So when we talk, we should talk right in. Yeah. Okay. Great. So if you're new to these live streams, we like to talk all things carnivore, and we like to help you troubleshoot, discuss topics that you all request for. So let me just make for our newbies here, if you have questions or if you have requests on what you'd like us to chat about in tonight's live, all you have to do is put it in the live chat box, and please have a triple capital Q so that Todd can easily see it and save it. And we will go in order from top to bottom. Welcome, Tim. Nice to see you. Hi, Ryan. And then we will just go one by one, talk about whatever you want, and answer any questions that you submit. So we'll start with the first one submitted, if you don't mind putting it on the screen, Todd.
Yep. Here we go.
Okay. Kia, hello. Kia says female, 63 years old. I have been underweight all of my life. I'm worried that I will lose more weight if I start a carnivore diet. Can I gain weight if I become a carnivore? Thank you. Okay. I love these questions because I would say like 80 to 90% of the carnivore community, they're a little bit more veered towards weight loss. So when we get asked, okay, well, what about the opposite, weight gain? It's always quite refreshing. It's like, oh, wonderful, because I have seen this happen and work for a lot of people who need to gain healthy weight. So I would love to open this up with Raymond first, your pointers and tips on how to gain healthy weight, and then Jennelle and I will chime in.
Yeah, I really like the point that Rebecca Heichman says is carnivore is a body optimization diet. In other words, it gets your body to where it needs to get to. So you're underweight, you'll gain weight. If you're overweight, you'll lose weight. But it's not really a weight thing. It's a composition thing. Your body just looks better and feels better because of carnivore, right? So what it is that it gets all of the hormones in place and you have the proper hunger for food. Now, it might not happen initially. That's the problem. So you're going to have to give it time. It's not going to be just all of a sudden you're eating properly and then it just magically gains weight. So there may be little tricks that you can do to speed it up by, like, for example, priming. Making sure you eat 3 meals a day. And if you have any nasty little habits like coffee or, other things, make those as dessert. So getting the food in, and sometimes some people might even take advantage. If you really want that to happen, you can have some kind of, collagen to add a little extra protein. There's a lot of little tricks, but I want to give you the confidence that yes, I have seen it where lean people gain weight on carnivore.
Absolutely. Jennelle, what's your experience?
Personally, my own experience, when I went into a more ketogenic diet, basically, it allowed my body to get to what I feel like its like set point is, and its normal natural weight. So I personally didn't gain weight on my short time so far with carnivore. I actually lost body fat. So I feel like Raymond shared as well, it also has to do with like the level of your health of your body. So if your hormones are all out of whack, your weight isn't going to be at its natural body weight that it needs to be at yet, because it has healing to do.
Yes. And I'd love to share what I'm doing lately, because I don't want to lose any more weight. So I feel like the timing of this is really good. I'm playing around with some foods and some variables and some things like timing of my meals, frequency of my meals, what I pair my meals with. One thing that I will say is if you want to gain healthy weight by wanting to eat more, move your body. Lift weights. You don't even have to kill yourself lifting super heavy. Just by getting the heart rate up or doing some type of resistance and strength training, it really opens up the appetite. Doesn't matter what age you are or how much healing you have to do. If you can just do a relaxing walk, because I recognize a lot of people also, they start carnivore because they have so much healing they have to do. They are so sick. They are close to death even for a lot of these people. So first assess what you're able to do when it comes to movement. But Kia, if you can just start with daily walks, that's already so good for your mental health and your physical wellness. And then from there, see when you're the most hungry. Add in raw cheese. That's the best food to help you eat more, opens up that appetite. It's so palatable. I would even utilize some sugar-free, safe sauces. And Todd can chime in on this next. Hot sauce, sugar-free mayo, sugar-free barbecue sauce even. There's so many sauces that you can dip your meats in to help you eat even more so that you're not losing weight. Todd? Oh, I think you're muted. Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know how that happened. I've never needed help gaining weight, that's for sure. But but I can tell you that when I need more of an appetite, for sure, the dairy does it for me. The dairy, higher palatable animal-based foods.
Sure.
Definitely the dairy puts the weight on me. So that would be my only but I mean, I have never had that problem, but for sure the appetite goes up with the dairy for me.
Yeah. And I'll just pass this to everyone in the live chat. Let's help each other out as a community. If you're watching the playback, put it in the comments below this video. What do you find helps you open up that appetite? Not necessarily helps you gain weight, because I know a lot of people, they're trying to lose weight. What helps you open up that appetite and prevent meat aversion? Share your ideas in the chat, in the comments. Let's keep going. Doodoo. Hi, love your name. Thank you so much for the super chat. So Doodoo says, hi, SBG from Singapore. Wow, that's awesome. First of all, I would like to thank everyone doing these live streams. I am doing carnivore for overall well-being. I keep slipping and eating non-carnivore foods. Any tips? I love this topic.
I love that.
I love it. I love it. The fact that there are carnivores in Singapore now warms my heart. Like, I'm so happy. There are carnivores in China. That to me is wild because in Chinese culture and in Chinese cooking, by the way, it's all about the vegetables and the seed oils and the rice. And a lot of women there, they really believe that you have to have rice and vegetables with every single meal. When I went back to China, actually, when I said that I only eat meat, their jaws dropped to the floor. They like couldn't believe it. So the fact that Asians are going carnivore is a wonderful thing. And I'm very happy to see this. So congratulations. Let me start off with Todd on this regarding how to not slip up and keep eating those non-carnivore foods. What works for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a combination of things, but one, the first thing that I needed was I needed to know what the consequences of the non-carnivore foods were for me and what it was costing me. So, that was some information through Gary Taub and Robert Lustig to understand that we really are getting poisoned when we're eating the standard American diet and the dyes and the preservatives and the seed oils. I mean, we are allowing ourselves to be addicted to drugs that are killing us, so that's one thing. But then as far as practical things go, one, I had to make the path of least resistance carnivore foods. So that means you have to stay ahead of it and make your environment set up to carnivore foods are way more accessible than non-carnivore foods, that it's easier to get to those things, which means a lot of planning and preparation. So you got to get rid of the things that you don't want. You have to know that all your old routines and patterns that you're going to be doing were all filled with eating those non-carnivore foods. So you have to come up with a plan. You have to have, I don't know, like you ladies call it purse bacon or ribeye.
Oh yeah,
Yes,
purse bacon,
yes,
lifesaver right there.
yes.
Yeah.
Right. And for me, it was always when I felt, any kind of excuse to eat that stuff, any kind of weakness to it, I just made a deal with myself and I said, if I really want it, I can have it, but in order to earn it, I have to eat bacon and eggs until I'm stuffed, wait 1 hour. And then if I still need it as that bad, if I'm still, my brain's going crazy, if the craving's that bad, then I can have it, but I have to earn it through eating bacon and eggs first. And luckily that always takes away the craving. So that worked for me. It took about 5.5, 6 weeks and that all went away. And I haven't had a craving in 23 months. So
Amazing. That is such great tips. Raymond, you go.
Yeah, just like Todd says, there's this couple of things going on. So there's the mental craving and there's a physical craving. What we need to do first when we first start carnivore is to eliminate the physical craving. The mental craving will kind of be there, and these tips that Todd gave you is excellent for that. Now, how do we get a physical craving? We get over physical craving by eating enough, eating more. So the challenge that if you're eating 1 or 2 meals a day, put it to 3 meals. Never be hungry. And you'll notice if you're never hungry, you're not going to crave non-carnivore foods. And eventually you're just like Todd says, you're pretty much you're going to identify all these other food as poison automatically because you know how good you feel in carnivore foods, just like you suggested. So I want to say the first part is take some time, about 2 weeks, to eat 3 meals a day and see how you feel. I like to call it priming, but I also like to, with priming, I like to say go comfortably stuffed to make sure you are very well fed throughout the day and not allowed any hunger.
Great tip. What works for you, Jennelle?
So for me, I would say that honestly, just eating enough, and also focusing on, like, say I do get a craving, I really try to tune into like, why can I maybe be having this craving? Like, have I just not eaten enough? I really try to check in with my body and my mental state. Like, oh, am I just extra tired? Have I eaten enough today? Like, there's so many things that could maybe also be disguised as hunger. Also, sometimes I'm just thirsty when I'm thinking I'm hungry. It's just thirst. So I really try to tune into what my body's just saying, or bringing up for me to process, and then be like, okay, so I'm probably just hungry. I need to eat some more.
Or bored, right?
Yeah,
you ever have that feeling? Yeah.
Real quick, share how many days you are in your carnivore journey.
Ooh, I think it's close to 70 now, maybe 70 something, actually, 70 something. Find the exact day.
So cool.
Congrats. in those 70 days, have you slipped up at all or fallen off track yet?
So I like to say I'm 90% carnivore right now because I am not 100% at the moment, and I am working through still. I'm still eating some things that are not 100% carnivore, and I'm not like kicking myself hard or being super harsh on myself. This has been a huge process of letting go of that kind of mindset around food for me too. So I've been being very gentle with myself and allowing myself to not do this as something that has to be like 100% or like just forget about it. I feel like that mentality alone can honestly have some people start to feel like, oh, I've just got to throw it all away if I mess up. Really just for me, being gentle with yourself is very important.
I'm so glad you said that. So I love learning from new carnivores because I forget, like 6 years into carnivore, what my initial hurdles or my initial adaptation symptoms were. So she's here in Vegas visiting me for a week, and just talking through her carnivore experience has been very refreshing and eye-opening. And it's actually given me a lot of ideas that we're going to film to help you guys, especially you new carnivores wanting to start soon. So I'd love to know everyone in this live stream. Hi, Lindy. Limitless Lindy is here. Let's all welcome her. Hi. Let's all share in the live chat and the comments. How long have you been carnivore so far? And also, if you guys want to chime in on slipping up, have you slipped up yet? Yes or no? Talk about maybe what triggered you to go slip up is great to learn from as well. So my tips for you, Dudu, is definitely what everybody said. 3 meals a day is a fantastic start. Raymond created his protocol called priming, where he walks through members to intentionally eat 3 meals a day for a period of time. You don't necessarily need to do 3 meals a day every single day and force yourself to do that. But there is a reason why it works. And there is a reason why Raymond specifically landed on 3 meals a day for 14 days at least. Sealing that habit is important, and it will keep you very strong from slipping up in the future, especially during the holidays. Okay. Eat more fat, eat more meals. That's my best tip. Let's keep going. Hi, Michelle. Thank you so much for the super chat. Michelle says, I am still losing hair. I'm 7 months strict carnivore. 2/3 of my hair has fallen out. Oof. Upped fat and protein. I'm so sorry that's happening. That is heartbreaking.
Wow. Yeah.
You want to go first, Raymond?
Yeah, this is definitely a sign of undereating by all kinds of means. So, hopefully you're not. A lot of people go in there for losing weight and they end up losing hair because they're undereating, especially at first. What I can say is and if you can't eat too much, it's so satiating to eat carnivore food, so it's easy to undereat. What I would like is if you eat 8 more meals throughout the day, whether it's 3 meals, 4 meals, 5 meals, 6 meals, eating all throughout the day. That will restore your hair. It takes a lot of protein to get your hair back up, but usually that's a 3-month cycle. So what I want to tell you is just eat more if you can.
Yeah. Kind of like, we sound like a broken record here on these live streams and in this friend circle. We typically say, oh, you're not losing weight, eat more. Oh, you're losing hair, eat more. Oh, you're not feeling energy, eat more. So we don't mean to sound like a broken record, but we have seen it enough and we've experienced it with our own lives enough to like back it up with this statement, this broken record statement. So I actually agree with hair. By the way, I do want to make note for Michelle. Hair loss typically happens weeks after the period of time that you put your body through, the period of stressful times. Yeah, Michelle says, I will try that. Good. Keep us posted on that. But hair loss happens weeks after you stress your body out. And it doesn't necessarily have to mean you underate, you were on a vegan diet. It could also mean you lost someone that you love, right? It could also mean maybe your work is giving you a lot of stress. You're not sleeping well. Maybe your kids are causing you a lot of stress. It could be a lot of things. So be gentle with yourself. Be aware of maybe did something happen in the past few weeks, like under eating or something stressful. Just that awareness can help.
Just that awareness for stress, because if you think about it, okay, a lot of people don't understand this. Even though if you seem like you're eating well, but you're stressing all the time you're eating, you don't digest well. So it actually does you, it's not a good thing to do together. So there's a reason why I feel like habitually people learn to pray before their meals or bless their meals before. A hunter would actually bless their meats and then ate it, because it relaxes you. When you're relaxed, your body can digest better. But if you're under a constant stress state, your body's just not going to digest very well. And that makes sense, right? Because you're in your fight or flight. You're always thinking that there's an animal about to get you. Well,
Right.
that digestion is just not going to work very well. So what I want to say is, even as eating more is going to be good, taking away the stress, just like Bella said, is very, very essential.
How about you?
Yeah, basically, I feel like it's very important to. Sorry, can you rephrase the question one
Yeah,
more time?
so-
What was the question? I was so focused on what you were saying.
No worries. Tips on hair growth.
Hair growth. Oh yes. Okay. So personally, when I've actually had some experience with this, losing some hair due to a stressful experience and stressful times. So I have actually experienced that. Maybe that could be what is happening. Also, I would chime off of the same thing everybody else is saying, making sure you're eating enough, of course, and eating enough fat, making sure you're checking those ratios to see, like, am I overeating on my protein and not getting enough fat? Because that could possibly be a thing that could be happening. Yeah.
Great. Lindy, did you want to chime in on hair growth?
Yeah, I'm hoping my hair grows back. I lost a lot of hair because I did restrict fat. I did restricting food because I wanted to lose weight so desperately. So everything stored, lost my hair, didn't do too well there. And priming and increasing my fat fixed that. So I stopped the hair loss. And now, look, it seems to be thickening up. Like, I can't see the top of my head, but yeah, I do feel like it's getting much healthier now. And it has stopped falling out, which is a blessing, because I really thought I was going to look like Todd and need a hat. So yeah, definitely protein and the fat did help me. And stress also, I'm going through a stressful period. It hasn't started falling out again, which I'm grateful for, but I am very aware of that if it does. But I'm really keeping high fat at the moment to try and stop that. So yeah.
That's awesome. Before I get to you, Todd, to chime in on the hair, Bill Knott is here. Let's all welcome Bill Knott. Hello,
Bill.
hello.
Hi, Bill.
I would love to have you on our live stream to hang out with us. So, Todd, what do you think the best approach to inviting Bill on for the next live stream is? Email? Oh, you're
You're
muted
muted.
again.
You're muted.
Interesting. I think there's a ghost muting Todd.
I think there is too.
Oh, you got muted again.
Don't do that. Oops.
Sorry.
Oh,
Bill-
what if he said YouTube's banning you again? Aren't
I
they?
I know, right?
They're going out of their way to shut me
They're
up.
going after you.
Wow.
Yep.
Me and Bill exchange numbers, so Bill can just text me.
Yay, Bill. If you're comfortable, no pressure at all. We want to hang out with you and, discuss all things health and carnivore. So
Yeah,
Todd will
well,
reach out to you.
Yeah, for sure. Bill's doing fantastic. So,
Yes.
but yeah, Bill, just text me if that would be something you are interested in.
Yes, please. Okay.
So, thanks so much.
Thank you. All right, Taco Cat, welcome back. Love the name. Taco Cat Entertainment. I've got dry skin on my whole body, 6 months carnivore, 24 years old. Wow. I don't salt because it makes my throat dry. Okay, so dry skin on the whole body, 6 months. My immediate thought is it could be oxalate dumping. We actually talked about this in our call with Rebecca Heischman. Oxalate dumping happens to a lot of new carnivores, especially if you used to be vegan, vegetarian, even pescatarian, and you ate a lot of things like sweet potatoes. So try to remember, before you went carnivore, did you eat a lot of spices, sweet potatoes, kale, spinach, maybe even tons of black tea? These could all be high oxalate foods contributing to this sudden dryness on your skin. Raymond, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, on that, fat is very nice for dry skin. What I would do is actually use that externally, but you've been carnivore for 6 months, so I I believe I did go through a phase of dry skin also. And yeah, I had a lot of oxalate dumping. So flaky hair all of a sudden, even worse than it was before. I always had dandruff, but there was some points that it got worse and then it started getting better. I used to have eye gunk stuck in my eyes. So yeah, all of those are part of the transitioning part with oxalates. I would say just kind of, I don't want to just say dismiss it, but put actual tallow on your skin. And I did that for a little while, and that seems to help it. So you're attacking it for both ranges, from eating and also putting it on yourself.
Topical.
Yeah,
That
topical.
really helps.
Right.
Todd, any ideas?
Yeah, I'd be curious to know if you started with dry skin and you still have dry skin, or if you received dry skin after 6 months of carnivore. But
That's true.
I always had dry skin, and that was one of the last things to go, especially if I had any lymphatic issues. So on limbs, basically, where I had lymphatic issues, that skin was the last to heal. But however, it took about 9 months, but my skin got exponentially better. But I had to do 2 things to do it. One was I had to increase my fat ratio because I was under eating fat. And 2, when I started dry fasting, that was a game changer, because that really started pulling some metabolic fluid, and it seemed to really balance my electrolytes, which really seemed to help my skin quite a lot, actually. So between and the autophagy goes in there and eats, dormant and dry protein cells, which a lot of that is skin. So it'll start to respawn skin generation. So that really worked for me. And I'm really happy with where my skin's gone. I didn't know if that was ever going to come back, but my skin on my face has gotten a lot better, and on my legs and stuff. So I would suggest those things, but it surely, even with all that said, when I do go through a bout of oxalate dumping, I get dry skin and rashes when I oxalate dump.
Yeah.
Yeah, same. Lindy?
Yeah, it's interesting. I didn't know that dry skin was sort of related to oxalate dumping, because I go through it right now and just thought it was something else. But my legs are definitely really, really dry, to the point like I've just been scratching them like I wanted to draw blood. It was just so itchy. And I've been putting just tallow on that, and it's relieved the itchiness, it's relieved the dry skin, and they're feeling so much better now. And I didn't even think of oxalate dumping, and I'm coming up to 3 years carnivore. Like, I would have thought that would be out of my system by now, and
I still get it.
Maybe not. So very interesting. Yeah.
I still get it. 7 years in, I still get it. So
yeah.
Do you think it could be when you guys eat spices?
No, it doesn't matter. It just randomly comes up. Yeah.
Wow.
Don't know why. No reason, no rhyme. Just sometimes just goes through but it doesn't last long. So I don't really pay attention too much, other than when early on it was very itchy, like you, Lindy, so that I did start using like tallow and stuff like that. I just did it enough to alleviate the itchiness. Otherwise than that, I just kind of let it be.
Yeah, well, I've put up with it for about 2 weeks. It wasn't till I put the tallow on, the next day I was okay. So that really helped just get rid of that itchiness, and my skin feels fine now. And I've never had an issue with dry skin. I've always been on the oily side, so it was really out of character for me to have dry skin. But tallow definitely gave me almost instant relief.
Yeah. So real quick, Raymond, you're 7-8 years into carnivore, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Lindy, you're 3 years into carnivore. Todd, you're how many?
2 years, basically, coming right up on it.
2 years. I'm 6 years. Let's ask our fresh carnivore right here, just a couple days in, 3 months. Would you say you experienced any oxalate dumping symptoms so far?
I think definitely I have experienced that like eye goop situation for sure. And then I'm not sure if it has to do with also like being in California with like the dryness of the air, but I still I'm currently like experiencing some dry skin. I do use a tallow based moisturizer for my face every day, and so I do moisturize at the moment. Oxalate dumping otherwise, I would say probably just honestly like that eye goop thing.
Oh, the eye
goop, yeah.
That was the clearest sign for me. Is my first 6 months, I would say, of going carnivore. I had so much eye gunk that when I woke up in the morning, every morning, I couldn't even open my eyes. It was so sticky and so goopy and gunky and gross. But I was happy because it was a sign that my body was finally ridding itself of all the oxalates that I was eating for 6 years on a carnivore diet. So Taco Cat, just reflect, like, how long do you think you have eaten lots of oxalate heavy foods? And just keep that in mind. 6 months might not be the end of it. Sorry to break this to you, but put on tallow on your skin if it hurts, if it cracks, and just give it time. Eat a lot of fat for sure.
For sure. All right. I'm going to take a break to let Tim brag on us for a little bit.
Yay. I was meaning to read it. Hi, Tim. We love you. So he says, when I consider where I was when I came to SBG, which is the Steak and Butter Gang, 3 years carnivore, and where I am today, it is an easy choice for me. I believe the standard American diet's foods is first and foremost by design.
100%.
As in, like, I think he's saying it's designed to hook you, right?
Designed to hook us.
For sure.
Yeah.
Get us sick.
For sure. I had to let Tim say it, because if I do, I get banned again.
Good job, smart.
I'm learning.
Yeah, Tim, you're the truth teller now, so keep it up in the chat.
Tim's come a long way when we watched him first set out.
Yeah.
I
it was crazy.
know.
He
He's
couldn't
amazing.
even. He could barely walk properly, and then now he's just like going
He's
upstairs.
got a job again. He's working.
Oh, he's got a
again.
job too. Oh, I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, he's
So,
working again. He's back
wow,
on
Tim. Yeah,
back on his feet.
he couldn't do
Cheering.
any of that before.
Yeah.
So it's amazing. Yeah.
Celebrating Tim today for sure. Oh, yeah. And you know what he said in Rebecca's call in the Steak and Butter Gang? He said that his wife said, "Thank you, Rebecca, for bringing my husband back." And when I
Oh.
read that, I was so close to crying, because that is the sweetest thing to hear from somebody else's mouth, is to bring her husband back. So shout out to Rebecca Heichman as well. Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Hi, Ruben. Thank you so much for the super chat. If I don't eat enough animal fats when I eat during the day, should I be eating a few tablespoons of beef tallow? If so, how much? I'm 52 years old and I'm fit. Great question. How to know how much fat to eat? If you guys don't mind, I would love to start with Jennelle, because she's actually playing around with knowing how much fat she's eating. So how do you navigate?
So for me, I honestly have just been eating a lot more fat and focusing on that first. I honestly, my diet's based a lot around cheese. So, but like different forms of cheese, like cream cheese, like regular block cheese, and then cottage cheese. But like I vary the ratios of fat in those. And I also make sure that if I'm having protein, that it always is with a fat. Like I never try to just do like protein only meals. And for me, that's been working really well. I'm just going based off of my hunger. And like, if I feel like maybe I'm a little extra low energy, I check in, have I got enough sleep, hydration? And then I start to assess like, have I ate enough that day? And then I just kind of go off of how I feel. And so far it's been working pretty well, doing the intuitive route. Raymond.
Yeah. So with the animal fats, I like to look at it this way. So there is another side of this. If you put too much, like start eating a lot of butter and you're not really wanting it, what can develop is what we like to call is a meat aversion. Meat aversion is when you have too much fat and then there's like a bottleneck, like your body's like, no, then it's not going to want meat anymore. So you need to be careful with that. Okay. And I notice a lot of women have a lot more tolerance to fats than men. Us men, seem to like the leaner side sometimes, a fattier side sometimes. So be aware of that. What I want to make sure is if you're forcing yourself fats and you don't want it, don't do that. I like the part on getting it on the meats as much as possible. For example, have a ribeye a day. That'll top it off really well. The rest you can have whatever else, doesn't matter. So my suggestion is just make sure you have a real solid meat. It doesn't have to be ribeye, but more fattier type cut or actual, what's that called? Like a whole meat.
A whole cut of meat. Yeah.
Whole cut of meat.
Like the primal cuts.
Yeah, like the primal cuts. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. As opposed to like what, ground beef?
Exactly. As opposed to ground beef or something that's
semi-processed.
Yeah, or something.
Oh my
processed.
gosh.
Exactly. Yeah.
So MD put in the chat picanha.
Picanha.
It's so good. If you haven't tried picanha, it is one of the best cuts of meat, right, Todd?
Oh, it is. But the thing is, I just ate 3 full packages of it from Costco. I went crazy on it. I went ham.
Oh, nice.
But thing that drives you nuts where I'm at is Costco keeps running out of it. So I've been back to Costco for 4 days in a row, and they've been out for 4 solid days. It's driving me nuts. Yeah, so angry. I'm like, you get me hooked on picanha, and then you guys are out of picanha every day. So next time, if I see picanha at Costco, I'm buying all of it.
And they're good prices too. Picanha.
They're great.
Yeah, really,
they're fantastic. It's like $8 a pound.
Yes, it's really.
And they are fantastic.
Really? Are they the primal or are they sliced for you?
No, they're the primal cut picanhas, and they come in a roast. They're like 7 pounds. And I made the mistake the last time I was there only buying 4 of them. I'm gonna buy I'm gonna buy a case of them. I'm gonna buy 20 of them or more when they come in there, because those things are fantastic, and they taste like a prime cut of steak. Like they're super tender, super flavorful, and man, and I love to take them and put them on the smoker, the whole roast. Smoke them, slice them up. Oh my gosh, those things!
I cannot imagine how that fat smokes up. I just cannot even imagine.
So
wow.
The only thing about picanha, I can only handle so much of that fat cap.
Really?
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, I'll eat a good.
You amateur.
No, then I just want the lean. You know, I just want the lean afterwards. You know,
Right.
So, but there's something about that fat cap that there's only so much I can handle of it.
No, okay,
For
so
sure.
just this conversation alone, if you take anything away from this live, is that every person is different with how much fat they can handle, like their fat threshold. For me, when I eat picanha, I can eat more fat than I ever can eat because it is so appetizing, I would say. And one thing that nobody talks about with picanha is that it comes with a crunch. What is that crunch? It's so addicting.
Yeah.
We just
So
ate
good.
some at, where were we? What was that?
Texas to Brazil.
Texas to
Yeah,
Brazil.
Texas
We
to
went
Brazil.
hard in the picanha.
Yeah.
Yeah, heck yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Definitely. Costco's about to get a run on picanha now.
It's a good thing. It's a good thing.
For sure.
Let us know in the live chat. Have you tried picanha yet? Yes or no? If not, try it.
Yeah, shout out to Guga Foods. You were right. Picanha it might be one of the best cuts for sure. I'm going to give it a number 2. I'm going to give it still like ribeye, but
Ribeye. I was going to say ribeye is still number 1 on that.
Right. Guga at Guga Foods is always saying picanha is better than ribeye. I'm not there yet, but it's second place for sure.
Yeah.
Nice. Hi, Max's Art. Hello from Paraguay. Wow, such an international tribe we are. Is it good to feed dogs fatty meat or better lean? Some say too much fat is not good for them. Any experience? Show of hands, who here has a dog?
Well, I used to, but yeah.
Okay, so Todd, me, Jennelle, Lindy. Oh, yeah, Lindy used to.
Yeah. Used to.
Yeah. Let's chime in on what works for our dogs, at least. So I have a golden retriever. His name is Simba. He's 4.5 now. I've definitely played around with giving like fattier cuts of meat. I try to give it to him raw just for nutrient absorption. When there's a little bit of a fat cap, he has diarrhea. So 100%. I see it in the way that he digests meat, raw or cooked. The more fat the meat has naturally, the looser his stools are, which could help because if he's not digesting or he's constipated, then I just give him a little bit of fat and his poops are back to normal. So it's quite similar to humans. Even if you have too much fat, you'll see it in your diarrhea and your loose stools. How about you, Todd?
Yeah, dogs aren't really meant. Their natural diet's not a super fatty one. They go after rabbits and they go after leaner.
Squirrels.
Yeah, squirrels, the lean animals. So they're not built for the fat. Now they can adapt to it, and it's not bad for them. And you'll see it in their coat, but especially certain breeds like my dog, my poodle. If she gets too much fat, she starts getting fatty cysts under her skin that have to be cut off. They'll grow fatty cysts and certain things, But the good news is, and the thing about it is they'll eat it no matter what, they'll eat the fat for sure.
Oh yeah.
But so you gotta be a little bit careful over giving them too much fat, but you can get their tolerance up. And I do think that it's good for their joints because I did increase slowly my dog's fat because my dog's going on 19 and she's a poodle and she has really long legs. So her hips, they get dysplasia. And so to kind of heal her hips, I put her on a higher fat, but I had to do it over time. And you'll know because they'll just have terrible diarrhea if you give them too much fat, you know.
How about your dog?
So I have a sensitive little girl. She, at this point, the kind of fat she can tolerate is chicken fat. But that's honestly pretty much the only actual animal fat she's able to tolerate. She is on a special veterinary food. She just has extremely sensitive skin. So I just did have to honor. I did actually try her when I first got her on like a raw based animal food. But she does the best on this. It's a hydrolyzed soy protein, but the chicken fat is the fat that's in that. So yeah.
Thank you for the question.
I want to have a little comment on that because when my dog, so that's when I started carnivore, and we had this dog for a little bit that we got from the pound, but he was older. So anyways, I thought I'd feed him a lot of fat to heal. He had like little issues with eyes and all that kind of stuff. I did see him get better, but this is where I learned and it was quick. He started turning down. At first he liked the fat. Then he started turning it down. Not only that, he was craving for his dog food. He like refused to eat any fat. And that's where I saw my first instant right before my eyes, that meat aversion. He was so fat averse, he didn't even want meat bites afterwards. So that gave me a lot of clarity a little bit that if I push too much fats, carb cravings could come back. So that's what we need to be careful. There is a balance. And even in dogs, which has a very much lower tolerance to fats, we need to be realizing that too. And it is depending on the person, of course, and breed and all that kind of stuff.
Raymond, did you say so if you push the fats, carb cravings come back?
That's what I've noticed.
For humans too?
And I've noticed from humans. That's right.
What fat are you eating with carb cravings coming back?
We're talking about, when I had a client where he would add on extra butter and extra all of these things, and he would just get a sugar crash. Like he said he could last about 6 days on carnivore, and then he would just crash every time because he thought fat was good for him. And I told him, back off the fats, start eating more protein. And he hadn't had, to this day, actually, you guys can check out my YouTube channel. That's who I made an interview because it was so interesting to actually watch it live. So too much fat, if you're not wanting fat, because that was my main questions. Are you doing all this fat because you want it? And he's like, no, I just know it's good for me. And that might not be the best thing for us.
Well, that's the key thing there is his body's not craving for it and he's forcing it, right?
Exactly.
So back to listening to your body, but good to know. Yes. Hi, Tom and Nina. Question: will you give or show some recipes to serve at Thanksgiving? Thank you. Ooh, that sounds fun. I can definitely do that, Tom and Nina. I can definitely do that. I don't think I have ever done a meal compilation or recipe compilation just for Thanksgiving. So thank you for the idea.
Great idea.
I will write that down. While I write this down, though, what are you having for Thanksgiving, Carnivore Thanksgiving, Raymond?
Gosh, the obvious ham. I hate turkey, but I'll have the turkey leg. I love the drumstick turkey leg. Let me see. We usually sometimes go for duck. So I might have duck and eat the whole duck. That's awesome. But yeah, that's the basics carnivore stuff that I can think of. I usually kind of sneak by and get a ribeye before I even have those events at my in-laws. So sometimes I'll treat myself to like a nice tomahawk just because, it's holidays. I like to, get a little bit, some kind of ribeye in.
Yeah, love it. How do you celebrate Thanksgiving, Todd?
So my go-tos on holidays are funner cuts of meat, like the tomahawks. I do the tomahawks, and then I like smoked prime rib with, and then I'll usually let myself have some dairy because I really like I like a horseradish cream sauce on the prime ribs. Those are pretty fantastic. And then I like to make bacon wrapped picanha bites. Those are really good. I like, especially if you put like a chunk of picanha in a jalapeno, a big jalapeno, and then wrap it with bacon. That's one of the things I like. And I'll let myself usually have a little bit of cream cheese, so you can do like those type of things with the meat and make the little wraps and things. That's about as fancy as I get, are those things.
Nice.
I love it.
I feel like us carnivores, we're the last people to celebrate Thanksgiving eating turkey.
I know.
No. You know why I buy turkey during Thanksgiving is so I can feed it to my dog, because that's what, like, that it's the best time to buy it. So I buy a bunch of them because they're a couple bucks a pound, and I'll buy 4 or 5 turkeys for the dog.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone here in the live stream, share what you guys will be preparing Thanksgiving, like what dishes you'll be cooking. Yeah.
My brother deep fried a prime rib last year that was pretty fantastic. So they make those turkey fryers, right?
Yeah.
And then so we got tallow, and we deep fried a whole 4-bone prime rib in tallow, and it was actually pretty dang good.
What a great idea. Wow.
Sounds expensive.
That's expensive, right, Lindy? Yeah.
A lot of tallow.
Yeah. Well, we got a ton of tallow. This is not a bad idea to do. Because, you know, I keep all the ribeye scraps, and we render it. So I've got a ton of tallow. Well, that's not a bad idea to use, because we were thinking, what are we going to do with it? We were going to make candles. But yes, this is a great idea.
Yeah, get one of those turkey deep fat fryers and deep fry prime rib.
Dang, that's a great idea. Okay.
I'm going to have to try looking at the chat. Let me put up some chat ideas here from you guys. Okay, A5 Wagyu. Wow, now that's expensive.
Wow. Wait. Bella. Tell us your experience. Remember when you did the A5 Wagyu? Didn't you say?
Yeah. Yes, I did. So I did a video of this. I had a little bit too much of the Japanese Miyazaki A5 Wagyu. This is not the American. It's the Japanese. And I legit got meat aversion for a couple days because of that fat. So fat really does matter. Like the type of fat matters for me. Picanha, no problem. A5 Miyazaki, disgusting. I can't. Like, I really can't. It sends me into nausea for days. So not to say don't enjoy it for Thanksgiving, just maybe don't overeat.
Don't overeat. Well, wait. When you said disgusting, you did like the taste, though. That's not what you mean by the disgusting is the after, right?
So with Miyazaki fat, the nausea hits you before you even know that you ate too much. It's dangerous.
Right.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I agree on Wagyu. Like our Costco has a whole Wagyu, and I know it's not the A5 stuff from Japan, but even their Wagyu stuff, I get it, and I do not like the fat in it. There's something about it.
Right? Something about.
I do not care for it, and it's to me it's a waste of money. However, I got to tell you, I usually get the prime rib, the primal prime ribs at Costco. And I went to a different butcher friend of mine, and I got the 100% Angus choice prime rib, but it was Angus 100% Angus choice. And I was like, well, that's just choice grade. It's not prime. He's like, it's better than USDA prime because it's 100% Angus. And I'm like, are you sure? And he's talked me into it. It was more expensive, but man, he was right. I am hooked on that stuff. It is my. Oh my gosh, it was so much different because, you know, when you get those prime USDA prime ones, they're almost a little bit too. This is going to be weird, but they're almost too soft. The prime ones, it's kind of weird. They're almost airy in a way.
Yeah.
Too much room, but like especially on the rib cap part. The USDA one or the Angus one, was like the perfect consistency of density and just rich and thick, and it was just even meatier, but super soft and juicy. Like you cut it with a fork. It was so much better. It's like it's 3 times better than a Costco prime grade. It's crazy, and it's so much beefier too. They're really good.
Interesting. I believe it. Because I purposely buy grain fed as opposed to grass fed. I wonder if it's like the same type of logic where if it's a bit higher quality, it doesn't even taste as good.
Right.
So
Something
weird.
Like
yeah.
It really is. It's so strange.
Saves us money, right?
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
I know. I was kind of mad that I was praying it wasn't going to make a difference because it was like $100 more per 20 pounds.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, come on. Why did it have to be so much better?
Right.
Huh. Right.
Interesting.
I've tried it and I've not seen enough difference to switch. So I'm surprised you liked it that much.
Oh my gosh. It was fantastic. It was day and night different. I cut 2 steaks out of it, took it over to my brother that night. I'm like, try this and tell me if he's like, that's the best steak I've ever had in my life.
Wow.
No doubt.
Wow. Amazing. Very inspiring. Yeah. Well, let's keep going. Great talk. Anna, welcome back. Hi, everyone. 6-month carnivore, still obese, but have dropped 55 pounds so far and feeling great. Coaches, is there a way other than blood tests to tell if you're no longer insulin resistant? Raymond?
That's a good question. So when you say insulin resistant for blood test, are we talking about your metabolic blood test as far as checking out for your A1C, your triglycerides, your HDL, LDL kind of combination? So I'm kind of curious if you can tell whether or not you're no longer insulin resistant. So one of the parts I can tell is from skin tags. If that starts falling off, that's a good one. Go on.
I think she's asking besides testing, like
Blood.
period.
Oh,
She
okay.
doesn't want to test. Is there any like more reasonable and at-home ways to find out if you're no longer insulin resistant?
Yeah, you can test your blood sugar.
Oh,
And what you're testing for on your blood sugar is how long it takes to come down. Because if it takes a long time for it to come down, like more than 2 or 3 hours to come back to a fasted level, like basically how long does it take you get, you have to find your metabolic fasting blood sugar level. And you can do that with a little home test. And then you got to monitor it. And I think there's a chart online that tells you kind of how long it should be coming in. But most people will come down within a few points of their fasted levels within about 3 hours. But for some people like me, it can take like 8 hours. And so, yeah, that's how because I'm super insulin resistant. And that's why I do so much aggressive fasting, because the best way to bring your fasted metabolic set point down for insulin resistance is with long-term fasting. And that's why I do 7-day fast frequently. And that's how I kind of check my progress.
So you do a blood glucose prick? Is that what you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Blood glucose prick. So I think what Anna wants to know is like not even a blood glucose prick. Is there other signs that she can maybe watch for? So the skin tags, yes. And then the other one that I hear a lot, especially from Dr. Ovadia, who is a heart surgeon himself, says your waistline, like your ratio of your waist, not waist. Is it the stomach area? Yeah, height weight ratio, and then the circumference of your stomach area says a lot about whether or not you're still insulin resistant. So a lot of people, they go carnivore, they go keto, they cut out the carbs and the processed junk. And the first place to really see a dramatic improvement is the inflammation in their waist area goes down. And so a lot of doctors these days say, if that's happening, that's a wonderful sign. You're slowly becoming less insulin resistant. I don't know. Just search Dr. Barry, search Dr. Ovadia, insulin resistant. They make fantastic videos on this topic. But hopefully that helps, Anna. Lindy, did you want to share?
No, not really. I wouldn't have a clue either. I don't really care. I just keep doing carnivore. It's too complicated when there's so many things. People this person says that, and I just listen to all these things and I panic. So I just like, no, keep it simple, eat my meat and try and just block out all those noises. Like I'm aware of it, but I don't don't really care.
That's fine. Totally fine.
I mean, if you're keeping track of one of the things, if you're keeping track of ketones and all that, how quickly you get into ketosis can matter. So you could do one of those test strips. I don't know if that counts. Oh, wow.
So Anna says she's lost 11 centimeters off her waist so far. So that's
that
a good
tells you right there. That's a great sign. You're in the right direction. That's the important part.
Oh, yes, for sure. Thank you for the question.
All right. Somebody get ready to mute me.
Oh my gosh.
We're going to talk politics.
Okay. Yeah. Hello, Crypto Carnivore. Welcome. Excited about RFK, working on our food supply. You think beef prices will go up a lot if we push regenerative farming practices? Well, Todd, go ahead.
No way. If we stop eating the bull crap and we cut the regulations, it's causing the farmers to not be competitive so that they can push commercialized farming, it will go down once we open up the market for it. So no, it won't. I mean, not for that quality of beef. I mean, I'm already trying to buy quality beef and it can't get any more expensive. I'm paying ridiculous. We're all paying ridiculous prices for meat right now. As soon as we get the regulations on
there, that's it.
Yeah. It's going to get better.
I want to chime in on this because when we went to Wyoming, Bella, you remember that place where they slaughtered the animals and they cut I forgot what the name of
I
the
interviewed the guy on my channel.
Yeah.
Yep, he was so
So
nice.
just to let you know, for that small facility, they were only using up 50% of the cow. Okay. Now these other facilities that cost millions more, they will be able to use up all of the cow, right? Now, most of those are not using regenerative practices, but it's the USDA that's actually preventing and making every cost a little bit higher. Yes, it is good for our safety and all, but that's what's making the cost a little higher. So regenerative farming, if we can get these big, massive, not slaughterhouse, wherever they process the meats. If we can get that, processing plants. If we can get that price down, then the regenerative meats will get cheaper. So I believe that if we worked, if there was some kind of statute to make it a little bit more even, where the regenerative farmers would get the same treatment as the super expensive, the big ags, the four guys who own all of these processing plants, then we're talking on an even footing, and then it will get our pricing a little cheaper.
Absolutely, because what's going to happen is it's just like fracking happened, right? You know, yes, crude oil was cheaper, and it's because it's a less refined fuel. It's way easier to get a hold of. But what happened when we were able to start fracking? We opened up that market, and we started coming to our market first. The technology and everybody went through the roof to get the oil out of the ground, and we all got so much more efficient at it. I mean, I was right in the middle of that, and we produced so much oil in such a short period of time that's what tanked the oil prices. That's when oil shot back down to $2 a gallon or whatever, because they said it couldn't be done. If you open up the market and you create a demand for regenerative beef, and you start putting regulations where they belong on the beef that's hurting people and killing people in the processed foods, you're going to shift the demand over to healthy food once people actually understand that. Right now, people don't understand what the food is totally doing to them. They don't understand how bad these seed oils and these dyes are for them. So they're still thinking that's an option. Once people start to learn and people see their health coming up, and we start putting regulations where they belong on the dangerous food that's killing us all and making us sick, then that's going to create a whole new market, and that market's going to get efficient, and then it's going to get very competitive, you know?
Yeah. Thank you both for chiming in. Next.
All right.
Crystal, welcome. What are your fat to protein ratios? Let's just go around the table. Lindy, do you know what your fat to protein ratio is?
No, I have no idea. If I feel like the fat, I eat it. If I don't, then I don't. So it's just day by day. I just don't track or record anything.
Jennelle?
Same boat. I just go based off of how I feel. But I do make sure I'm getting enough fat for sure.
Raymond?
Yeah, I mean, it's day by day. Some days I don't track it. First of all, I never track anything. But some days I want a lot of fat, and some days I just want a lot of lean. So that's how I go. I just go with what my body wants.
Todd?
Yeah. Right now I'm about 70-30, and if I'm craving more fat, then I go to 80-20, which is a 2-to-1 fat to protein ratio. But generally I stay between 70-30 and 80-20.
Okay. Yeah. I also don't track. But the other day, Jorge forced me to track and also count calories, which no problem, because anything for you, Jorge, if you're still here. But I just go by cravings. So just to give you guys perspective for the newbies, first year of carnivore, I would have 1 to 2 sticks of butter in addition to my fatty meats. Today, 6 years in, I don't need a whole stick of butter. So I need like maybe 1, 2, 3 tablespoons. Some days I don't even need it at all. So just to put it into perspective, again, listen to your body. Next.
For sure.
Hi, JHH. Okay, so hi, Steel and Buttergal. Okay, I think that's a typo. If you had to choose a carb source, what would it be? I know where this question is coming from. So yesterday I posted a video just giving a quick update on what I've been up to, like what routines have been working for me, what little shifts I've been doing 6 years in. And I talked about these days, because I'm lifting more frequently and doing workouts, I feel like it's a little bit more difficult for my body to maintain a weight because I'm just losing. That's how revved up my metabolism is, and that's how much activity I'm doing. So when it comes to a carb source, my preference would be cheese and also kefir, and also maybe down the line, if I have to, maybe raw milk. But I don't think I ever have to do that, because with cheese and kefir and yogurt, did you say eggs, Raymond?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, eggs, the tiny bits of carbs, those types of foods for now is sufficient.
Yep. I'm playing with raw milk now, just to let you know.
Talk about that. How is it going?
Well, so I've always been intolerant, lactose intolerant, but with raw milk, it's always been less. So I still notice a little bit of that, but I don't know. It's very filling. The reason I'm doing it is because I'm adding organ supplements in there, and also I'm adding a little extra collagen on there. So it's just that extra protein. I'm trying to just really push my prime to like an absolute.
That's awesome.
I just want to see what's going to happen, but man, I've been feeling wonderful. So even the milk so far, I'm tolerating it very well. It's too early to tell because I've only been doing it for about half a week. So I'll let you know. Perfect.
Todd, did you just now remove our wonderful Noah?
I did. I booted him.
Okay.
People were asking for it, and I didn't have time to monitor it while I'm pulling up questions. So I was just like, when I saw him getting hateful, I was like, it's annoying the crowd, so I booted him.
Yeah.
That's fine. Oh, okay. If it's annoying you guys, the community, then we will boot. But just for our newbie viewers here who just came into the live stream gang, we welcome and we embrace trolls. We love it because when trolls hop on, that means the algorithm is doing some good things. So
and they just need a steak. That's all they need. Let's be honest.
Oh, but they won't believe that.
They won't believe that. I know.
Well. And honestly, I also booted him because I like to play with trolls, but I got a hard strike the other day, so I gotta give it a minute so I don't use up my other one right away.
Oh, yeah, good call, Todd. Thank you for that. Shoot. Okay, Keith Meyer, welcome. What is the best cottage cheese now? Jennelle knows.
Well, I love cottage cheese. I eat it literally every day, as Bella has seen.
Yes.
But I actually specifically get one kind. It might be hard to find where you are. I like a probiotic cottage cheese. So it's a tangy cottage cheese. It's by this company called Nancy's.
Yes.
It's my favorite. I love their cream cheese as well.
You like the way it tastes? Is it sour?
Yeah, I just love like the tangy tart taste of that specifically, and it's just I feel like it tastes better than regular cottage cheese. It's tangy. It's so good.
You tried it, Bella?
She had me try it. Yeah. It's like surprisingly sweet, and no, there's no sugar, but the flavor is nice and complex. It probably is from the probiotics and the aging of it, the fermentation probably, and then I was going to say Nancy's brand. I've actually tried Nancy's yogurt, cottage cheese, sour cream for Bella's Cafe recipes, and always high quality, very good ingredients. So I recommend Nancy's as well. Next.
Cool.
Hi, Christine. Good to see you here. What are your thoughts and opinions on counting macros with an app versus eating intuitively? Great question. We touched lightly on this topic, but let's dive right into it because it is such a popular one. Okay, when it comes to tracking with an app versus eating intuitively, I'd love to start with you, Lindy. Oh, Karen Miles is in the house. Hi, Karen. Good to see you. Love you so much. Okay.
For me, I don't count anything at the moment. I just eat intuitively, but I do believe it's a great tool to use when you're closer to your goal weight. I'm still losing weight. Everything's moving in the right direction. So I don't think I need to do that. That's more for when things get stuck, and then I can maybe look into my macros and things then. So
I love it.
Love it. Raymond, go ahead.
I love your opinion there, Lindy, and I like that too. So first is trying to realize, I believe, when you're going on a carnivore diet, it's so satiating, right? So you really don't know what being full is. You don't really know where hunger lies, all of that. we need to find out by pushing it, by eating so much that you're just not hungry. And then later on, maybe about 3 months later, if you needed to find out like, hey, how much am I eating? Just out of curiosity. And first get the feeling. What's it feel like to eat enough or properly? Get the feeling what it's like to fast properly if you're into fasting, and then start calculating just out of curiosity. Otherwise than that, I think it can be a deterrent, meaning that you won't learn your body signals properly if you stick with macros. If you stick with, oh, I need this amount every single day, that's kind of a problem, because just to let you know, every day is going to be different. Some days I don't eat much at all. And some days I'm just like highly ravenous. Yep. And is that okay? Of course it's okay, because different days, it could be colder, it could be hotter, you could have more stress. So it doesn't make sense to eat the same thing every day.
I love that answer. How about you, Todd?
Yeah, so I don't mind. So at first I needed to actually at least have a reference point. And that's where I think that macros matter. I think that even the scale is somewhat, you almost need to learn that the scale's full of crap, and you're not going to do that unless you see it first for yourself, and then you throw it away, once you actually start tracking it. So there is somewhat of a point, but it's just to get a reference to understand how silly a lot of this is. But on the macros specifically, it depends on, I suppose, where you're coming from, but I came from just a metabolically screwed up place that I didn't know what real hunger was. I didn't know what real satiety was. I didn't know what a functioning metabolism felt like. I didn't know all these things. And I also didn't know what oxalate dumping felt like. And I didn't know what it felt like to have a healthy gut microbiome or any of these things. And then as it was happening, it was creating changes. And so it was good to grab onto a little things just to get my bearings,
Mm-hmm.
But once you use it as a reference point, then you can just pretty much throw it away, because then you learn how to just use your intuitive eating, and then you don't need it anymore. But it was good to find my macros and things like that. For me, were kind of my true north. Just, it was the only thing I was grasping onto for a second to figure out what was going on,
I love that you said that. So tracking can be beneficial for women, especially because we tend to undereat. We have these mental blockages like, oh my gosh, this tiny little portion is all I'm allowed to eat. And getting over that fear is a big hurdle for a lot of women. So I wanted to just share with women, especially, you cannot just go by an app or a number to dictate how you eat, especially given our cycles, our monthly period.
Right.
I bring this up because it is so important. Let's say Christine somehow goes on some website and uses some calculator, and this calculator says, okay, Christine, with your activity and your blah, 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 you should be eating 1,600 calories a day. Well, if she's eating 1,600 calories a day, the 3 to 4 days leading up to her period, when she has her flow, that's going to damage her hormones. She is going to be ravenous. Every single month that she keeps this up and forces her body to do this, she will have to pay for it. And so I bring this up because it happened to me, and probably you too, Jennelle, you can talk on this. You cannot use a number or a calculator to dictate how much you should be eating, because every day it will be different, especially if you're female.
Yes.
Well, and then that would lead into this next question very well. So I'm just going to go straight into it.
Perfect. Okay. But before we get to you, Haley, real quick, I do want to hear Jennelle's thoughts on tracking versus eating intuitively.
For me, with tracking, it definitely helped me to track at first, but just to learn how much fat and protein I was eating. I just honestly needed to see it in front of me to start learning how much of fat to have, how much of protein to have. For me to see it really helped me personally. And I've been intuitively eating the whole time I've been carnivore. I haven't tracked and made sure oh, I need to hit this exact number. The whole time I've been carnivore has been intuitive, and I just still base how I feel off of that also. Yeah.
Awesome. Wait, okay. Raymond and Todd and Lindy, guess how young Jennelle is? What's her age?
25.
25. How about you, Lindy?
Yeah, 23.
Raymond?
Look
I think
young.
she already told me. Yeah. You're 32.
What did she look
is that
to?
right? Yeah.
Oh, wow. Thanks for giving it away.
Sorry. Well, she told me what. So
Okay. Jennelle is
I'm 34.
34.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, I missed that.
34.
Yeah. I knew you're in your 30s, but I didn't remember. Looking great.
Yeah. So I met Jennelle a couple years back, and I can say she definitely looks younger and younger. The more she eats meat, the more fat she eats. So a wonderful inspiration for women. Great.
For sure.
Yeah. Hi, Haley. Welcome. Will it damage my hormones if I eat strictly carnivore during my luteal cycle? I've heard that women need to eat more carbs during this phase in our monthly cycle. Nature's carbs, not processed. Okay, great question. I love that she asked this. The fact that she's aware with the cycle and different periods of a female cycle is wonderful. The fact that she thinks she needs to shift her diet or the amount that she's eating is wonderful. One person that I recommend to look to is Mindy Peltz, right, Raymond? We've had her visit the gang. I've spoken to her. I've interviewed her. I know her work. She has a book called Fast Like a Girl. You know it? Okay. So Fast Like a Girl is all about, for women at least, how to fast to work with your monthly cycle. And I specifically asked Dr. Peltz this question. It's like, okay, if everybody thinks that we have to eat carbs during the luteal cycle, how can we do it if we want to stay on a high-fat carnivore diet? And she said, eat carnivore foods that have carbs. Simple as that. So Raymond, what are some foods that have carbs that are carnivore?
Yeah, lean on cheese. You referred to that earlier. Lean on cheese, eggs, kefir, which all of those things that you said. So these have little amount of carbs. But the biggest thing that we need to realize is eating more throughout the day.
Yeah.
That's going to be important. So it's not just enough to just say, oh, I'm going to eat these more carby type carnivore foods. That's not enough. It's just eating throughout the day that's going to really help you through that phase. But again, I'm not a woman, so I bet I have coached many women through it. And if you'll notice some things that your cravings go up like a little bit before. So try to be aware, just like in Fast Like a Girl, it talks about being aware of like there's like little 5-day difference in these cycles. So whether you're going into like maybe I shouldn't talk about this, the actual period or before the period, all of that. See, all of that matters because the cravings change. When you're on your period, according to Dr. Mindy Peltz, that's where it's a good time to fast, when you're actually starting to bleed. Sorry, I should mention it that way. Anyway, starting your period.
No worries. No, that's fine. Like I like to use the word flow, but I also call my period Shark Week. And whenever I say it's Shark Week, at least on Instagram, people are like, oh, is that a fish diet? Are you only eating seafood these days? Like, no. But what's your experience with your period?
Well, with my cycles, I actually, when I was 17, I was diagnosed with endometriosis, and through fasting, I healed. I actually healed any symptoms of endometriosis. Back when I was 23, I did that. Yeah. And and I in the past was put on birth control, so that also, like, I believe did cause that and can affected my hormones immensely. And for carbs, for me, I do eat cheese and cottage cheese, half and half every day, personally. And I just love cheese. It's one of my favorite foods. And for nature's carbs, I don't eat anything that's actually like, I don't eat honey. And I actually stay away from yogurt. Just personally, I just like how the cheese makes me feel.
That's awesome. Do what works for you. So hopefully that helps you, Haley. But look into Dr. Peltz, Pelz. Todd, can I just put up one comment? Because we love answering questions. We love helping you guys out. But my favorite thing is just a sense of community when I do these live streams. I love hanging out with my friends, which is why I always bring them on every week. But I also love seeing all your updates and victories in the chat. This just popped up for me from Jason. And he says, I've lost 32 pounds over the last 50 days on carnivore. Incredible. And that he's been using Bella's recipes. Yay. Very excited. This has been huge in helping. Thank you,
That's
Jason.
what's up, Jason. Awesome.
Very
Incredible.
encouraging. Yeah. All right. Hi, Hector. Is this diet bad for colon? Well, where's Dr. Phil when we need him?
I know, right?
Soon.
He'll be
He's
here
coming.
soon.
Yeah. My colon's perfectly fine, no issues. Does anybody
really
want to chime in
fast.
on this one? Dr. Phil
Yeah.
would be fantastic, but he's coming soon.
Yeah, let me chime in on that because I have a IBD, the diverticulitis to be exact.
Okay.
So I just did a Cologuard because I refused to get the colonoscopy. So, and I came out totally clean. And she said, my doctor actually said this is a very sensitive test. So anything pops up, it will actually put it as negative. I had a clean bill of health and it's like, we don't need to see you for another 3 years. And I'm like, wow, that's pretty good. This is somebody who I've been having this kind of aggravation for a while, this IBD for a while. So if it's bad for my colon, well, I do believe that I would have gotten much worse and probably had to have surgery because they were threatening me with surgery with the diverticulitis already. I say they threatened, sorry. They were offering me that option for surgery and the potential of going on a bag. And I was like, there's no way I'm doing that at 45. So, I did the diet and luckily enough, somehow I don't even feel any of the flare-ups as much. I still have them, but they're so tiny, it's not a big deal. So I believe that there's actually healing to my colon, but I'm not a doctor. So
Yeah, I would just refer you guys to Kent Carnivore. I think he's he's absolutely the authority on colon and gut health and digestive tract health and carnivore, and it absolutely healed him. And his stuff was so bad he had to have his colon removed, and what saved his life is carnivore. And also, and compared to what Taco Bell's bad for your colon, not carnivore. You know what I mean?
Wait, he actually had his colon removed though?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
He had his colon removed as a vegan. And then he had to go to, what's really amazing about him is when you watch his story, he's got a channel called Kent Carnivore, but he has a colostomy bag. And so he gets to see how everything goes through him and how it digests. Right. And the thing that is the most absorbed and the most utilized by the body is always the meat. There's the least amount of trouble and gases and fibers and buildup and sediment and all that crap from the meat. He said it just comes out as a liquid, where everything else is just a gas and just it'll actually blow up his colostomy bag and stuff from the gas from all the fermentation in his gut. Yeah, it's gross. And what that stuff does in our gut. And so to me, when I started listening to Kent Carnivore talk about it, I'm like, this is why literally, if you watch him, you can see why we only poop a couple of times a week when you're eating just meat. It's because our body absorbs 90 whatever percent of that stuff. And it's not just toxic crap. And this is why, that's why I give my friends a hard time when they're like, oh, all that meat's bad for you. It's poison. You're going to get, colon cancer. It's like, what's not normal is eating Taco Bell and then having to run home and get rid of it an hour later. Like, what did that just do? Your body just got rid of it like it was a toxic, pile of stuff you just put in your body, and it had to expel it. Like, what is normal is that our body would hold on to it and pull all the nutrients out of that food that we ate and use it as building blocks. That's what's normal. That going and spending $10 at Taco Bell to run it home to your toilet is not normal. That's what's screwed up.
And I want to add to that, Todd, actually, if you don't mind. Sorry. You say Taco Bell. I say fiber and vegetables, period.
Yes.
We both can relate to Kent Carnivore because we both were also vegan for years and years and years. 8 years for her, 6 years for me. And I was pooping. Sorry to be TMI. Dr. Phil is in the house. Right when we talk about poop.
Right on time. That's right.
Timing.
We said poop 3 times and Dr. Phil shut up.
That's how it works, right?
Love that.
Like magic. So cool.
Oh, so let me just finish that. When we were both vegan, you can confirm.
Mm.
I would be pooping 3 times a day every single day like clockwork, yet I would still have a Buddha belly.
Yes,
Why?
that's what I was going to say. Have you guys ever had it where, okay, for me, whenever I ate carby meals, I would literally get 3 more. I had to unbuckle my belt buckle because I just get
Yeah.
so inflamed right there at the moment. And I thought this was normal.
Yeah. Sorry. I'm
Yeah,
just looking at
sorry,
the
what's
live.
funny? Oh, the chat.
no.
Yeah. Beetle food, Voodoo juice. Oh, that's funny.
Puddle juice. Oh.
You came at the right time, Dr. Phil.
I'm questioning that
Urgency
decision.
of the urgency of vegan coops.
Feels like, what am I doing in my life right now?
Yeah.
Okay, let's keep going. All right, the crazies. I'm 2 weeks in. I have used mushrooms, onions, and avocado in my diet. Mostly just meat, cheese, and eggs. But when does the bloating stop? Wow, just when we were talking about this. And
Yep.
I become a little bit more regular. Yeah, sounds like he or she is feeling blocked up. So not only is there bloating, but maybe you feel constipation as well. Typically, what we like to say is eat more fat and or eat more salt to get the digestion and the bowels going. Dr. Phil, do you have any ideas?
Well, I think that's great advice. I think
Okay.
usually you moderate your fat to get the results that you want, but it does take time. Some people everyone's different, so you have to experiment.
Definitely.
Yep.
Hopefully that helps, but start with those. More salt, more fat, experiment.
More meat.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right. Next one. Sorry. I was
worries.
typing in. Oh no. Lindy, will you put the next comment up? My mouse just died.
Oh, sorry.
You are stopping.
I wasn't even looking at comments. Yeah.
No, I got them all started. Sorry, my mouse just died. That's what's wrong.
Oh,
That's
Hold
happened
on.
to
Very
me too.
good.
We got you. Okay. Next one's on screen from Kimberly. I was doing carnivore and then I visit my mom trying to get back, not feeling well. Help how to get back without feeling sick and tired. I see the difference in my A1C and have seen the benefit. Okay, so there you go. For all of the live stream watchers or who watch the playback who think that carnivore does not help your A1C, it's inflammatory, it's bad for your health. These are real people reporting back that they go carnivore and their A1C gets better. So they're reversing diabetes. They're seeing the improvement in their blood work. I just wanted to make that, very clear that we're not making this lifestyle and this diet up as if, we just love to eat meat and we're making every excuse to justify us eating only meat. It is changing people's lives. And this carnivore community, I want to say, is at least 500,000 people strong by now. Just given the fact of the following of our biggest content creators who are carnivore, like Dr. Baker, like Dr. Chafee. So how to get back on track with carnivore without feeling sick and tired, Raymond?
First of all, if you're not feeling well, obviously you're not going to be able to eat enough. So the idea is to eat smaller meals, all what you can handle, and easier meals. We're talking about like eggs. We're talking about maybe if bacon's not too harsh. So it depends on how you feel. Now, if you're feeling fine and you're able to eat, I would recommend eating 3 meals a day. More than likely, you might need to eat snacks in between. Enjoy that. The more you eat, the easier it will be to get back on track, because the less you're hungry, the less you crave and the less you want anything else.
Yeah, love that. Anybody else want to chime in on this? If not, we move on. Okay, let's keep going. This is Marianne. Hi, everyone from Homestead, Florida. Oh, Dr. Phil is in Florida. Yes. Please go over priming and why to do it. Thank you so much. Go ahead, Raymond.
Well, okay, I'll go over priming, just kind of the overall basics. Priming is a period right about 2 weeks that helps us get over our cravings and also gets us properly nourished to the point where we'll actually want to automatically fast. So the idea is to start out with the first week eating 3 meals a day and having snacks. But one of the most important things, a lot of people who skip meals are usually the ones who drink coffee. So what I want to say for any coffee or tea drinkers that you're still holding on, have that as dessert. And by the second week, you should feel like it's almost very difficult to keep going like this. You're going to feel like that third meal is too much. Then that's where on the third week, you'll play with the 2 meals a day and see how that feels. But the idea is to get enough nourishment in where you don't feel the carb intensity. It's all mental and it's not even there really. You just don't want it as much. That's the basic concept. Yeah. Anybody else? Perfect.
Sorry.
Okay. Yeah.
On you.
I was fixing some technical difficulties. Okay.
All right.
Phil, did you want to chime in? Because, you know, you always have such a great
Well,
explanation.
I always like to say that your reason for priming is different depending on where you're at in the journey.
Yeah.
So if you're new to carnivore priming can kind of build a solid foundation. But some people say, well, I've been doing carnivore for 2 years. Why should I prime? And I would say, why not? Priming helps to nourish your body, and most of us undereat, even chronically on carnivore, and it gives your body an opportunity to take a couple weeks to re-nourish and build yourself up, especially if you've been doing a lot of fasting. And you may have some deficiencies that you don't even know you have, and priming can sometimes reveal that and give you kind of a second wind, so to speak, because you're getting your body renourished. And for me, I used it to reset my metabolism. I hit kind of a plateau in carnivore, and whenever I hit a plateau, I reprime, which is exactly what people don't want to do. They're saying, well, what do you mean? I haven't lost any weight for the last 10 weeks. Why should I eat more? And it's, well, because you probably aren't eating enough, and you need to get your hormones back renourished, rebalanced, and priming will get that done. So anyway, that's my 5 cents worth.
Very valuable. And I want to chime in next. When I primed, and I've primed many times throughout my 6 years of carnivore, and Raymond has seen me need priming like 4 years in because I was getting a lot of inflammation due to a lot of travels and a lot of stress in my life. But my first year of carnivore, I primed for 6 months. Okay. And this goes to show each person may need very drastically different lengths of priming. Some women may need 6 months like me. Some men, they can go by with just 2 weeks. I see priming very similar to makeup. Okay. I'm a girl. I love makeup. I love playing with makeup.
Right.
And we use a product called primer. Why? What is the purpose of this makeup product called primer? It's so that your makeup stays on your face. It looks natural. It looks beautiful. It doesn't melt off if you're in heat. It doesn't look cakey and unnatural. So I see priming when it comes to eating as a way to prime and prep your body for success. Yeah.
Nice.
So I thought about this the other day when I was playing with makeup. So yeah.
No, you're right. It's called a primer. Yeah. Don't they do that for painting, right, Todd?
Yeah.
gosh.
For sure.
That's true.
Yeah.
With painting and oil painting as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can't hear you, Phil.
Really?
Oh, there
Can
you
you hear
go.
me at all?
Now,
Now we do.
Okay.
Oh, maybe it was just my end. That's weird. I saw your lips moving, no sound.
Yeah. Oh, did you want to chime in, Phil? No. Okay.
No,
okay.
I'm
No
good.
worries.
I'm good. I'm good.
Okay, no worries. So, with that being said, do you have to prime? No, but I want to give a lot of credit to Raymond for being bold enough to make this protocol. No one would be bold enough to say, oh, you're not feeling great, you're not getting energy, you're not losing weight, you're not growing back hair. Well, eat more. But Raymond made that protocol, and he was the one who brought it to the forefront of this carnivore community. So for everyone who's wondering about priming, hopefully that helps.
Yeah.
Perfect. Hi, Katrin. Hello. First 3 months, triglycerides went down to 80. That's great. Next 3 months, it went up again to 111. How is that possible? Strict carnivore didn't change in that 6 months. Thank you. Dr. Phil?
Well, I'd like to take this one. So,
Yeah.
first off, triglycerides change from moment to moment, so they're not always the same. Your target should always be to have them under 150. The lower, the better. But most people don't recognize the fact that your lipid profile has been standardized to a very specific fasting time. And that fasting time is 12 to 14 hours. So sometimes people get their lipid profiles done and they haven't fasted enough, or they fasted for too long. And if you want to compare one triglyceride level to the next one 3 months later, you need to make sure you're being consistent with the time that you do the sampling. So don't do lipid profiles during fasting periods. Like if you're doing a 72-hour fast and you think, oh, 72-hour fast, this will be a good time to get my lipid profile done. Well, it's actually a bad time to get the lipid profile time, because you'll get, you may get some cortisone surges and things like that that may raise your triglycerides. But the thing is, you're not getting a valid test. Okay. So I'm trying to think of an analogy off the top of my head. It's like if you're going to you guys know about locks that raise and lower boats?
Yes.
Okay. If you say, someone says, how deep is the water? You got to know if the lock is open or the lock is closed, because there may be 40 feet different between those two measurements. And so you either need to measure the water depth completely emptied when the locks are open, or you need to measure it when one end is closed and it reaches its very, very top level where it's level. Because if you measure anything in between those two levels, you're going to get spurious results, and you can't make heads or tails of it. I hope that makes sense to people.
Always does, Dr. Phil. Thank you for that.
Okay.
Danny, welcome. Why are coffee and dairy shunned on carnivore very often? And is decaf a way around caffeinated coffee? I don't think they're shunned too much, but
No, not shunned.
yeah. Maybe it's specific channels who need to be a little bit more strict and who need to be on a lion diet, which makes sense because typically coffee and dairy can cause a little bit more inflammation for those who need to heal autoimmune issues. So I always like to reference somebody like Michaela Peterson versus maybe someone like Raymond when he first started. They're going to start off carnivore in a very different fashion because of what they need to heal. So Raymond, why don't you start? Like, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah. So first of all, on dairy, I feel like that's a great way to start carnivore, because you've got, well, not just a great way. So you're going to eat meat too, but this encourages your appetite. So we're all about eating more, right? So anything that encourages appetite, such as dairy, is great. Now, all of that said, is if you don't have any issues with dairy, you don't have lactose intolerant or anything like that. And of course, we're not talking about milk from the grocery store. If we're talking about milk, it's raw milk. So that's another distinct. That's why we don't like the dairy too much on that part. Now, as far as coffee is a different story. Coffee, we notice that dampens our hunger. So that's why so many people are skipping breakfast. But their body actually is crying for food, but we're dampening it with the chemical that's in coffee. And yes, decaf kind of does the same thing. So this is why we say, hey, coffee as a dessert, which is part of the priming protocol, eating 3 meals a day, coffee as dessert, not feeling any hunger throughout the day so that your cravings aren't there. So that coffee has a lot of other things. Read Caffeine Blues if you're interested in quitting coffee. It's got a lot of facts on there that you didn't realize how many chemicals comes in coffee. Remember, coffee beans create a certain pesticide, which is the caffeine So the coffee products creates that so bugs don't get on it. It agitates them to the point where they'll die because they're so agitated and anxious. That's what it does to us. In a way, we use that as an advantage to do more things, but it can get to the point where it can cause extra anxiety, sleeplessness, all of that stuff.
Yeah. And is decaf a way around caffeinated coffee? Did you answer that already?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm just going to say, I mean, if you dilute poison, you know, is it still poison? I say yes. So in a way, it's kind of the same. It may be a little bit better of a poison, but I don't really buy that. Sorry,
Okay, so
I didn't say that out
you're
loud.
the reason why people think coffee is shut.
Okay. Coffee is not a problem. Enjoy your coffee. Gosh,
You know, that reminds me of
shouldn't have used
something.
poison. My bad.
Yeah, this reminds me of something my brother said once. He said the definition of an oxymoron is when he called the pickaxe. He goes, "We had to go buy a new pickaxe for digging a trench." He goes, "Oh, that's a good pickaxe. Let me buy that one." And his boss told him, "There's no such thing as a good pickaxe." That's an oxymoron. There's no such thing as a good poison.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a hard truth I'm still trying to swallow, but I don't care. I'll still drink coffee.
Wait. Let's be honest. You're 6-year carnivore, Bella,
Yeah.
and you've had all of this healing, keeping
Sure.
coffee. So to me, that's not a problem. You know, you
Okay.
guys want to hold on to your coffee, hold on to it. If it's affecting you though, and you're honestly feeling like there's an effect that's negative to you, then yes, go
Yeah.
without. You went without it for a little bit.
Yeah.
You probably
did.
saw a lot more positives on the coffee than without the coffee, right?
Every time you talk about my phase of coming off coffee, your face just gets so sad.
Yeah.
And you guys missed that phase. I don't think you guys were on the team yet, but
No.
I did quit coffee cold turkey actually with Raymond's recommendation, and I don't think he's ever seen me so
I
just
was like,
sad.
have the coffee, Bella. Have the coffee. You need the coffee. Please have the coffee.
Get back on.
Yeah,
That's
great.
what I want too. Yeah.
So Raymond, you got me to quit coffee, and when I joined SBG and started doing priming, I was a good little soldier and cut coffee out for 6 weeks, and I really didn't feel any different one way or another, but it took away. I already had a problem where I wasn't eating with my wife dinner because she's not carnivore, and so we were missing the morning ritual of having our morning coffee together. And so I re-added it in because it's the way we start our day together. So, and I won't give it up because of the ritual. And the whole time I was off, I drank hot water. I still, which I thought was really weird. And I didn't think I'd ever like that, but I actually liked it. But she likes me to get up. I get up first and I always make the coffee. And so it's a way to serve her. And, you know, I just follow
That's
through.
good
But I could go back to the water. But I think there is cultural stuff here where it's worth the risk. But I do agree if you're struggling with your appetite, it does artificially change your appetite for fasting and also for priming. And you got to be careful with it. So it's not a bad thing to give it up short term.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love
Great
that.
point.
I love that. 75 years of coffee, and it must be a slow poison. Some people seem to tolerate it with no problems at all. I mean, it's incredible.
Yeah.
But there are some people who are very sensitive to it too. So I just know that it does affect our eating. We can't. So that's all I'm saying is just eat it as a dessert. At least at first, drink it as a dessert.
For
Later
me,
on, when you're more solid carnivore, it doesn't matter.
For me, all those drinks that were stimulus and sweeteners and all those things, what I found handy by not having them is that it was a big part of what I was putting in my body that was, like say, staving off hunger and all those things. And so really, and I keep saying this, I think Jordan Peterson has this right the best, where carnivore is really just a very effective animal-based elimination diet so that you can see what stuff's doing. And when I got rid of all the sodas and the coffees and the things, I was able to finally actually see what a real hunger hormone was like, see what real satiation was like, and be able to hear things a lot clearer. I think now, I don't know, after 2 years, I might be able to add it back in and see what it does. But before, it was too many variables to
Exactly.
kind of get my bearings on what was
Yeah.
going on. There's too many things to track at the time.
That's a good point too. Don't overwhelm yourself. But Dr. Phil, thank you for bringing up the appetite and how
that.
coffee does affect your hunger, your satiation, just your appetite in general. So keep that in mind for those who are new here watching the live stream, wondering the same. It's like
I just want to add that.
Yeah.
I just want to add, I'm sorry, but my 95-year-old dad drinks coffee every morning. So
See, that's right. Exactly.
Oh,
Yeah. I
okay.
know many people that have and live that long. And I actually, who's that guy who smoked a cigar every single day and he lived
George
to like-
Burns. George
George
Burns lived
Burns,
to be
that's it.
100.
Yeah, 100,
Yeah.
right.
You know-
So
you know what's
there you
gonna-
are.
You know what's going to happen though, Phil? When your dad passes away at 120, Raymond's going to go, see, I told you.
Yeah, you know, there you go. The coffee did it.
I'm sure he will.
Yeah. So I mean, it's really that's the thing. Look, you guys got to know yourselves. So I love that, Dr. Phil, you just were honest about a ritual for you and your wife. That quality matters. You know, keeping a happy wife actually keeps you living longer too. So, let's be honest about that. So
That's
I love
true.
that.
That's true.
Good
Your
line
your wife could be worse harm to your health than your coffee if you don't keep your
Yeah, and we're going to be celebrating 43 years soon, so I'm not ready to trade her in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Love it.
Wow.
So
let me just ask everyone in this live stream. Usually I'll ask the question, hey, do you drink coffee? Yes or no? But today I'm going to ask a different one. Does coffee negatively affect you? Yes or no? Put your answer in the chat. Let's keep going.
Sorry, that's me, isn't it?
Hello.
Oh, that's sorry.
Good morning,
Okay.
Lindy.
No worries. Well, Todd usually is the host here. So
Yeah, I thought you were back.
My mouse went dead, and I'm charging it right now, so I'm trying to let it get some batteries right now.
I got
Yeah.
this.
Thank you, Lindy. How do I know? This is Griselda. Welcome. How do I know when I'm eating too much fat? Diarrhea, loose stools, maybe some stomach upset. Raymond?
Yeah, meat aversion, eat everything that Bella mentioned. I can't think of anything else. So too much fat. Oh yeah, just if you're starting to look at meat and you're like not liking it, it's more than likely the fat, too much fat. So just think of that. I don't
Yeah.
know, but
I was
could be
just
also the rendered fats. I was thinking that. Did we ever mention
nausea.
rendered fats?
Nausea is
Yeah.
a good sign for me. When I first went carnivore, eating too much fat, and my threshold was very high. But when I ate a couple bites too much, or when I ate that A5 Wagyu, nausea for me. Anybody else?
Yeah, when it tastes bad. Sometimes I just taste awful and I just don't want it.
When it stops tasting
That's
good.
it. Stop saying
Yep.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, that's basically my only guide on that. Is I feel like if I'm having gluconeogenesis, I'm not eating enough fat, and when it starts tasting bad, I'm like, and that'll happen. I'll make 3 ribeyes, and the first ribeye I'll eat it, and the fat is the first thing I want. The second one, it starts not tasting good, and the third one, I can't even think about it, but I still want the protein, and I want the lean meat.
Very cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I recently have had a kind of not liking the fat in the, you know how the ribeye sometimes had a big hunk of fat in the middle of it?
Yes.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm like really craving it, and other times I'm not.
Yes.
And so I will trim it out and throw it in the air fryer and cook it for 5 to 10 minutes, no matter what, to just get it as dried up and hard and crispy as possible.
Mhm.
And I love it that way, but I don't want to cook my steak so long to get that internal fat that way. So,
Too much work. Yeah, and the steak doesn't taste as good.
so
Yeah.
I think it's a way to keep giving my body the fat, even when I'm not desiring it as much. So that's a little trick that I've learned to do. People think
Okay.
about doing it with fat trimmings, but sometimes I do it within my within the ribeye itself.
That's a good point. Yeah. Sandra, has aqua therapy made anyone else not just incredibly sore, but ill as well? I don't know what aqua therapy is.
What is
Does
that?
anyone know?
I do the magnesium float spas, but that's not aqua therapy. I'm not quite sure what that is either.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
I don't
For
know
now,
what
like instead of guessing here, let's just wait for Sandra to clarify and let's keep going.
Okay.
Jorge, piggybacking on Dudu's question, does eating a carb meal once a month while on a strict carnivore diet mess up any progress we've made?
I love that.
Go ahead.
Let me tackle it. Yeah. So I honestly, so let's say you have one carb meal a month. Okay. Does it mess up your carnivore? I don't do it that way. The problem is, let's look at it, cravings. Okay. One can set you back right about 3 to 5 days. Okay. I know because I can feel the pain by adding a little bit. So I don't like losing that quality. So that's why I don't do it anymore. But what I can tell you is the cravings. If you have one full days, let's say 3 meals of carb meals, you get into what I say the carb hole. That's where the carbs get you, their hooks in on you, and it's hard to go back. But if you have one meal, it is fairly not that hard to get back on the next meal to eat meat. So to me, that's the important point. If you're willing to sacrifice 5 days of not feeling so good or more, some people's more, some people's less, then let's say for a birthday, I used to do it for like my son's or daughter's birthday until after a while, I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. But that's what I did. And I knew it would cost me 5 days of not feeling very good, feeling like an old man.
Wow.
So I was like, okay, well, that's worth it because that's my kid's birthday. That's what I said. And afterwards, I was like, that's not even worth it because my kids didn't really care whether I ate cake or not. So I was like, oh, okay. Well, I stopped doing that. Anyways, hopefully that's an answer that, you wanted to. That helps.
Yeah. So I think what you're saying is, will that one meal set you off for a long time, or are you able to moderate and just have one carb meal? So that's going to depend on each person and their ability to moderate versus whether or not they know they have to abstain. So, Lindy, how do you go about navigating this one?
Yeah, I'm definitely an abstainer. If I said to myself I want a cheat meal once a week or once a month, I'd be hanging out for that next cheat meal. Like it's always going to be on my mind. So I just need to keep it simple and not think about it. So yeah, like my daughter's birthday's coming up soon, and I'm like, oh, I need to order some cupcakes for her and a little design. And I'm thinking, oh, am I going to have a cupcake? And I'm like, I shouldn't be thinking like that. That's dangerous for me to be thinking like that. So I will order the cupcakes, but I'm not going to have one. I just don't want to give myself permission at this time because I'm just not strong at the moment. So yeah, it's just everybody's different. I have to abstain.
Good point.
So.
I love that. I love that.
I think that's an excellent point, Lindy, because people don't think about that psychological anticipation that's created.
Right.
And that can be worse than what it does to your nutrition or your hormone balance, because you go from food freedom to being imprisoned once again.
Great
And
point.
I think that's one of the greatest benefits of carnivore is that food freedom where you're not thinking about the next meal. You can be doing something, you think, I guess I'm hungry right now, and then you go get something to eat. But you know, it's such a great feeling to not be driven by your mind being preoccupied by food. So whether you're an abstainer or a moderator, you got to think about that psychological hold that food has on your lives. And if you're one of those that thinks about food and get up every time there's a commercial break because you got to have a snack because they've just bombarded you with commercials about snacks, it's dangerous to play around with. It's like a heroin addict or a cocaine addict just saying, well, I'll only have a little sniff tonight,
Right.
Before you
And
know
I'm usually pretty good with it all. Like before Texas, I was fantastic. I could just have that little thing and just get back on the wagon, not a problem. But since then, I've just had a lot going on with my daughter. I'm not sleeping well. I'm not eating properly because I can't keep food down due to the stress. So I'm trying to prime, but even that's a little bit difficult because I have the lap band restriction. So, and that's why my off switch is kind of not there at the moment. It's off kilter. And I know priming is going to fix that, but because of my lap band, that is a bit difficult at the moment. So that's where my struggle is. So that's why this birthday coming up is giving me a bit of grief mentally because I'm not primed. Priming gives me that off switch. And if I can just prime and get all that nourishment in, it's like my body's not craving the nourishment anymore. So that's where I'm trying to get at. So that's why I love priming. But yeah, you just got to be in a position where you can do it. And if you've got stress is a big issue and physical restrictions because of the lap band, it can be frustrating.
Great points.
For sure.
I want to feature this one from Brett, Hoosier Carnivore, who's here with us. Thank you so much for helping out. Most of us that have tried a carb cheat meal have found that it's not worth it. Also, rewarding yourself with food is a bad habit that is very hard to break.
So true. So true.
Sure.
Well said.
Right.
Well said.
Yeah, well said.
Food should not be a reward. It's nourishment. Absolutely. Or punishment. It shouldn't be either. Yeah.
For sure. Well, and I always think of it like I don't negotiate with terrorists is what I always think of.
No, I love that.
Well, seriously, because they've turned the idea that carbs are a cheat meal or a treat, and really they're a drug that's causing us all so much sickness and pain. And it's like, no, that's a ploy because it's so addictive. They built all this addictive junk, and then they're like, "Are you going to have this treat for your birthday or whatever?" And it's like, that's how they just keep people from really finding freedom, is by playing that game. And it's like, yeah, this is like a trick from these big food terrorists, It's crazy.
Yep.
Which leads us to another question he just posted from himself, which I think is pretty a cool question. What is the number one thing you hope RFK Jr. can do to improve our food in the USA?
We'll leave it at that, and let's just chat. Guys.
Love that.
Thank you so much. Love you guys. Okay. I do want to prioritize our super chats, which I did see. So Sherry, welcome back. Thank you so much. As someone who eats roasted bone marrow every day, is the extra tallow from marrow have more nutrients than butter or beef tallow? Thank you. So her question is, and she's the one who's currently eating lots of bone marrow to heal. Okay. She visits our live stream like every week. So it's good to see you. Welcome back. Is that fat from the bone marrow even more nutrient dense than butter or beef tallow? What do you guys think?
It's different nutrients.
It's
just like butter's going to have different nutrients than tallow. It's going to have different nutrients in the bone marrow. I think it's important to just recognize that alone.
I think the fat alone in the bone marrow is very different. It tastes different, right? Haven't you guys noticed when you add bone marrow?
Of course.
Yeah. So I believe it's a totally different consistency. To me, it's very rich. I crave it. So I don't get it enough, but yeah, I crave it. So my opinion is different, just like Jennelle said.
I feel like it's different. My favorite place in Vegas to eat is the Wicked Spoon because they have a all-you-can-eat Vegas buffet of really top-end meats. But one of the things, they have a all-you-can-eat bone marrow that's sliced open and flame roasted.
Oh my gosh.
That's where I tried it.
Write that
Yeah. We have a chubby cattle here in Atlanta. And that's where I went for that and had exactly what you just described.
Yeah,
and I love that name, Chubby Cattle. So cool.
Wait, before I forget, I've already lost that chat, but somebody in the live chat tonight said, you're in Las Vegas, welcome, but I know a source of raw milk, so reach out to me to be connected. Please, I would love to be connected. Thank you so much. Can you just email me, steakandbuttergal, spelled out, @gmail.com. If you email me, I would love to meet and get some raw dairy. Thank you for offering that, by the way. Awesome.
Hey, Todd, do you know how to make bone marrow?
Or
how do you ask for it?
Well, I've never made it myself. I know that people sometimes roast it, but usually they cut it on like a bandsaw, and then they cut the bone right down the middle, and then they flame roast it, like put it under a broiler, and they broil it. That's how I've always seen it.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay.
I prefer to eat bone marrow raw. I don't even want to cook it. I just scoop it right out of the marrow bone raw, and I had like the pleasure to do it a couple times my first couple years of carnivore because I was just fat crazy. I wanted so much fat, all the fat. I wanted to play around with, tasting the different types of fat. And I just remember the satiation that hits real quick with bone marrow. So I would say it's a little bit more nutrient dense.
Oh, you just got me laughing, Bella, because I'm thinking of Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom when they're eating the monkey brains.
Still love
Monkey
monkey
brains.
brains. Yes.
Wow.
I've always wanted monkey brains because of that. That never got to try it.
Did they eat it raw?
Yeah, it was raw.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was
Chill of monkey
fresh
brains.
monkey
See, chill.
brains.
Yeah, fresh monkey
It's
brains.
served in the monkey head,
Yeah,
so they
the
take
monkey
the
head.
top off.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
It's one of those visual scenes. The first time you see the movie, you never forget.
Yes.
Oh,
you
that's
never
right.
forget.
I could just see Todd with his bandsaw cutting the
That's all.
femur,
Just cutting the- yes.
and then Bella
Uh,
sucking out the marrow.
yum. I would
Totally.
do that. That would be yummy.
No.
And I don't know what it is that vegans find this to be a brutal diet. I don't really understand why they think this is so primal. I don't get it all.
I think it's great. Yeah, I think it's great. Yum.
That's funny.
Hilarious.
Super sticker. Yeah.
Thank you so
We
much.
do have fun on this call.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
speaking of having fun though, like we should use that as an intro, that RFK thing, to do an intro about following
Oh,
us
yeah,
on
Rumble.
Rumble. Yeah.
Yes,
so
Todd,
that-
go ahead.
Because my Rumble channel's up there, Lindy's is up there, soon Bella will have one up there, and we're gonna start migrating over there so that we don't have to just laugh at those questions, because they're great questions and they should be answered and they deserve an answer. And someday maybe social media will not be bought off and we can actually answer them. But right now, Rumble's one of those places that you can, and we'd love to see you guys over there so that we
Yeah.
can speak freely instead of tiptoeing around the real things,
In the meanwhile, I can say if you really want to better understand the food pyramid, just turn it upside down.
Exactly.
That's it.
That's
Oh
a
my
good one.
God. There's a South Park that talks. Did you guys see that? That was
Yeah.
I have
No.
that one. Like that's a big one in the carnivore space on social media. Is people repost that all the time. I'm sure if you guys Google, what's the keyword? South Park food pyramid.
Park, food
Yeah.
pyramid. Yeah.
Oh, great.
That's
Great.
facts.
It's really
Um,
good.
Now, just to follow up on Todd's remark, links are down below in the description box. So make sure you open up that description box if you want to know where to click and where to go. But yeah, we'll leave it at that. Okay. Next question. Oh,
And
did
Bella,
Julia?
I just wanted to add, there's a lot of people shouting out and asking specific things, and for some
Yeah.
reason, I still can't do comments
Oh,
from
really?
this platform. So we've got to figure that out.
We do need to figure that out. Okay.
And I want to make sure there have been a lot of questions about women and hair loss. And I
We actually
know that
covered it.
you, oh, you
Mhm.
did cover it. Okay. I just want to make sure it's got
But
covered.
thank you for noting that and realizing that there are so many. I definitely realize it too. One of the most popular
Okay.
questions that I get asked. I would say like within the first 30 minutes, we talked quite a lot about hair growth.
Okay.
Yeah, one of the
Before I
first
arrived.
things.
Yeah.
Thank you though.
Thanks.
Yeah.
So Cindy, before I read hers, Juliet, she had a super sticker. Did she have a question? I just don't want to miss it.
No, I don't think she did. I went through and I could not find a question that went with it.
No problem.
Let me go down and see if there wasn't one before, and let me see if she put one in after it, but I don't think so.
Yeah, while you're looking, hey, just wanted to let you guys know I'm gonna have to jet because I'm supposed to be eating. I accidentally haven't eaten yet today. And I'm supposed to stay on my priming, so yeah, so
Great.
probably should
Go
head
ahead.
out. So yeah.
Thank you so much
Enjoy
for
the
your
live
time,
stream.
Raymond. Don't ever
was
feel
fun.
like you need to stay the
Yeah.
whole time, like ever.
No. It was fun. So thank you so much.
Appreciate you.
Cool.
See you,
Love
Raymond.
you.
Thanks.
See you
Thanks.
For your
soon.
meal.
Great. Okay, so Cindy's question, Big Man Alaska, who's that? Said that Todd recommended ACV on meat, but forgot the reason. What's the reason?
Yeah, actually, he texted me yesterday, and I answered that question to him. But I thought I knew the reason actually until today in the chew. Dr. Phil told me that me and Phil was talking to me because I thought it was a short chain fatty acid, and I thought that it was going to my liver. Now I'm not sure why I was craving it. It definitely helped with my digestion though, but I'm not sure. We should almost finish that conversation, Phil. Why do you think I was craving it? But because I was confused too when she said it was a short chain fatty acid, because I was like, I don't know if those bypass digestion go straight to the liver or not. I don't think they do, because medium chain.
No, they don't. They don't. The C. So that's a C2, as we found out today, because someone pulled up the chemical structure, and it has to go through your lymphatics as well. So, but short chains may get through your lymphatics better. And I don't know. It would be interesting theory, because what I was thinking was, I wonder if those short chain fatty acids have a better time getting through a sluggish lymphatic system than the big chain fatty acids. And that's kind of the question I had in my mind after that discussion. So I'm gonna have to do some research on that, Todd. But that would be fun to figure out.
That's awesome. Well, I love when we get your brain cranking, because you do something, you make a fantastic research chart every time you do, and we all learn so much out of it. So that's awesome. I appreciate it.
Yes.
So we'll have Cindy will have a better answer for you after Phil finishes his homework.
But I always put a quarter cup of apple cider vinegar in the bottom of my Instant Pot, below the rack when I do my ribs in the Instant Pot. And I love the flavor for it. So I'm not bathing the meat in it. I'm just using it as a flavor enhancer.
Right.
And it makes for really tasty ribs.
Absolutely it does. And for me, the reason why I started eating, I wasn't a big vinegar person until I went carnivore. Then out of nowhere, I started craving vinegar, started eating it, and I was getting energy out of the vinegar way quicker, especially accompanied by fat. So I assume that it's an emulsifier, that it was helping break stuff down, but I really don't know. And then when I was talking to Leslie and Keith, she said that they find that with people that have lymphedema, because when you're trying to mobilize fat through the lymphatic system to energy, it can be really slow. And that apple cider vinegar is a short chain fatty acid. So I was thinking, so you're saying it works kind of like MCT oil, where it bypasses the lymphatic system, goes through the blood to the liver, creates ketones, and you feel better. That's what I was thinking she meant. But then earlier today, when Phil said, actually, I don't think that those go through there, I was wondering that, because I knew that medium chain did, but I didn't think that large chain fatty acids or short chain fatty acids, I didn't think they went through the blood into the liver. So that's interesting. So I think you're onto something, Phil, because I definitely did. My body was craving it for a long time, and it was definitely giving me more energy. So I wonder what that was.
Well, it may have slipped through your lymphatics a lot easier, because you had very sluggish lymphatics. I mean, but how much weight have you lost?
310 pounds now.
Yeah. So some of that's sludge.
Yeah. Some of that, you're saying some things might be a little more efficient now.
Yeah. Well, you made a comment one week that you had a 42-pound water chain and one weight change in one day.
34 is the most that 34 is the most that I've had.
34. Okay.
Yeah.
But the whole point is, where's that water stored? And some of it's in your lymphatics, and some of it is what we call third spaces, which is the third spaces are the spaces between the cells. And that's a lot of weight. So think about 34 pounds of water is 5 gallons of water.
Wow. Yeah, almost 5 gallons.
And, some of that's distributed in your circulation, but a lot of it's distributed in your lymphatics, which are trying to keep that out of your tissues, and the rest is in in what we call the interstitial spaces in the legs and the arms and your abdomen.
Since you're saying that, I have no reason to think this, but I just wonder this. When, because I'm very susceptible to still gaining fluid if I drink too much water, and especially if I have a bunch of salt and I drink too much water, it'll puddle up in my legs, and it's way easier to get off now, and I can move it very quickly. But still, I'm wondering, when I get skin surgery and getting that tightened up, I feel like there's not going to be the room for that to keep happening. I feel like that there's going to be a natural I push back on that. I feel like it's almost easy to retain all this fluid because I have all this old pathways where that fluid spent so many years puddling or whatever. I don't even know what I'm trying to say exactly. I just feel like I've built reservoirs for fluid in my body over time.
Yeah, well, you probably still have some lymphatic channels that are blind passages, but you've developed a lot of collateralization using the vibration plate. So just think of those as, think of a subway system where they have old lines where they no longer run the trains and they close them down at the stations because they don't want people living in them and everything. So you have these lymphatics that are blind in tunnels all over your body because you have, tens of thousands of lymphatic channels and they're just there, but they're not functioning anymore because you've developed newer, healthier ones.
I got
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Yep, for sure.
Hmm.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, that is. Wow. Also, I wanted to say, I've seen Todd chug this size of bottle in seconds. So I'm not surprised that he can also flush as quick.
That's a fact.
In Texas, I saw that. Yeah.
I was dying of a heat stroke that day.
Yes.
Hi, Anne. Welcome. How vital is lab work? And what kind of lab workup should I even ask my doctor for? If you don't mind, Dr. Phil, a quick little summary of this.
Why do you think Dr. Phil gets this question? My goodness. I think we as Americans do way too much lab work, but I think there's a reasonable amount of things you should do. And it really depends on your age. Because, and the reason I'm saying that is if you have a health condition that you're following, lab work is very healthy, very wise to do to monitor the process of what you're doing. But I see so many people that are just like taking lab tests and I've seen interpretations where they're being told they're in kidney failure or they're in other things. And I look at their lab test and it's like, you're not in kidney failure. You have one abnormal lab. You were fasting. Go get this rechecked, non-fasting, and oh, my kidney failure went away. Well, you weren't in kidney failure. Or I've had people say, oh, I have fatty liver because 2 of the 3 liver enzymes are elevated. And then I say, well, your third one's not. So this isn't coming from your liver. It's coming from your muscles. And they say, oh, well, I did an intense workout at the gym right before I got my lab test. So you have to know when to take labs, what to do. And this needs to be individualized. And I think that's one thing that is a great question when people ask it. We had a conversation today in the, what's it called?
Troubleshooting meeting.
Troubleshooting meeting, yeah, because I wanted to get it on tape where I spent about 15 minutes going through, okay, you got a lipid profile, your lipids are abnormal, what are you going to do with that? And discussing just on one test, which are multiple results, how much thought needs to go into how do you respond to that blood test? And what are your options? And Lindy, you want to comment on that as someone hearing that talk? I mean, what did you learn from that?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I don't know. Yeah. It was a really good talk, but yeah, I was occupied, so I missed a lot of it. I have to go and watch the playback. But
Lindy was busy moderating. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, I think
sorry.
I think the point is your lab test is more than the numbers of the lab test. You got to put it in context of what else is going on. Why did you do the lab test? Are you looking for something? And there's something in medicine we call Bayes' theorem, Bayes, Bayes' theorem. And most lay people have never heard this before. So it has to do with the basic concept of Bayes' theorem is if you have a disease, the probability of the test when positive is more likely to indicate disease. But if you do a test when you don't have symptoms of the disease, Bayes' theorem says an abnormal result is more likely to not signify the disease.
Mhm.
So in other words, in medicine, the ultimate cliche we use, if you're in the United States and you hear hoofbeats outside your window, is it more likely to be a horse or is it more likely to be a zebra?
Mhm.
Okay. So
Mhm.
is it, and Bayes' theorem helps us as doctors to focus when we're doing labs directed at symptoms and history and physical, we are looking for something and we want to rule something out because we have a pretest probability that you might have A, B, C, and we want to rule out X, Y, Z. The lab test helps us to determine that. So then we have the concept of screening tests. And screening tests have nothing to do with Bayes' theorem. They're screening tests which are good indicators of health. And in the United States, the best source for finding those out is the United States Preventive Medicine Task Force. And it's, if you take those initials, .gov, you can go to the USPT Preventive Medicine Task Force. I think it's TF. So all those initials .gov, or you can just put in U.S. Preventive Medicine Task Force and Google that, and you'll get the website. And it tells you at this age, you should consider being screened for this disease with this test. And it's very reliable. It's based on what we call the Cochrane Survey, which takes all the medical literature and says, this is a valid screening test to do. And it tells you this is not a valid screening test to do. And there's so much waste in healthcare where people are doing a lot of tests they don't need to do. So I'm going to just stop there because I went on way too long for the purpose of this call. But most people don't know it's even there.
Thank you for taking the time to explain all of that. That's invaluable info. So, and we have that on playback. This is the last question we will do, and then we'll wrap up for tonight. Again, we do these live streams every single Friday night. So if you just hopped on, come back next Friday, 4:30 p.m. Pacific time, every Friday. Soothing times. Can you drink mushroom coffee on a carnivore diet? I don't even know what that is.
It's mushroom coffee. It's made out of mushroom.
Mushroom.
Tiger, I think it is tiger mushrooms or something. So
Oh, Mudwater. There's all kinds of
Yeah.
brands of mushroom coffees now. It's quite the craze.
So it's coffee not made from coffee beans at all, or is it a little blend?
I don't know.
Do you know?
I think it might be both or just mushrooms. I don't know, because I know that there's a company that makes like Four Sigmatic is the one I'm thinking of, and I know they make like mushroom coffee, but I don't know if it's mushroom and coffee or if it's like they use a different kind of.
I think it's just the mushrooms.
If it's just mushroom, why is it not called a tea? So I'm just stupid on this stuff.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. It's coffee with mushroom powder added.
Coffee.
Oh,
with
okay.
added. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's, she says medicinal mushrooms. So
Like lion's mane.
Soothing Times replied. So this is their question. Mostly mushrooms is what it's made out of. Okay. Yeah. Is that okay on a carnivore diet? Experiment.
I don't have an opinion.
Yeah, it's hard for us to answer that because we've never tried it, and you saw we didn't even know what it was. So sorry. But let me just pass this to everyone in this live stream. Let's help Soothing Times out in the live stream. What do you all think? Is it going to be problematic? Is it going to be probably fine on a carnivore diet? Because a lot of us drink normal coffee and a lot of us are fine. So if we use the same thought process, if you're fine on mushroom coffee, have it.
Yeah, I mean, I'd treat it like I treat spices, where you do an elimination diet, take it all out, and then try it one at a time and see if you have a bad reaction. That's what I would do.
Do that. That's the best way to go about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right on.
Perfect. Awesome. Let's wrap up with our usual final thoughts, starting with Todd.
Yeah, well, I would appreciate you guys coming, but I think I wanted to mention that we are going to be at Hack Your Health, and we do have a discount code in the description of this video, where we are. Phil has a awesome topic, and Bella has an awesome couple of panels actually, and we have a discount code, and right now is the best time to get your ticket, because with the discount code that's in the description of this video, you get $100 off. So that's pretty awesome. So wanted to put that out there. And yeah, and then also, the SBG sign-ups there. If you guys want to see us in the SBG at the calls there, you guys can come see us and check out priming for yourself, because there was a lot of unanswered questions in the, and sorry we can't get to all the questions. We're 140 questions behind roughly. So sorry we can't get to them all. But if you want to check it out at SBG, Steak and Butter Gang, we do calls every day, and there's an open chat 5 days a week you guys can hop into and meet with the coaches and ask questions. So, and even Dr. Phil is there a lot of the time answering questions. So definitely want to put that out there.
Yes. Lindy, any final thoughts you'd like to share?
Oh, yeah, all the above, what Todd said. Yeah, it's lovely. I love these calls. This is so nice to be here with family. You're all family to me, and the community are all awesome. I just love these talks because it keeps me motivated, keeps me grounded. That's what community is all about. Without community, I'd be lost in a world of lots of noises and people talking non-carnivore things. So I appreciate everybody here so much. So thanks for coming.
And Dr. Phil?
Yeah, I'm going to just share a little teaser here. So if you're in the Steak and Butter Gang, watch the playback for tonight's
troubleshoot.
What's it called again? Troubleshooting
Troubleshoot.
call.
Yes.
Because if you ever wondered how to interpret your own lipid profile, it's now recorded. It's playback for all members who are in the 30-day challenge. So that'll be good. And I've had some personal health challenges in the last couple of weeks, and Bella and Raymond and I are going to have a sit down. I've done research of 76 peer review articles to make some clinical decisions for myself, working with my cardiologist, and I've got some tough decisions to make in the next over the next few weeks, and I'm going to use it as an opportunity to present what the literature says. And we're going to be talking about statins. We're going to talk about how to do secondary prevention of cardiac disease. And my last video I did with Bella and Raymond, I talked about what you do with your lipids when you have primary prevention, which means you don't have coronary artery disease. And I'm going to be going over the literature for those of you who have had a coronary event or a cardiac event, and how do you make informed decisions and evaluate risk and benefits and have a discussion with your doctor to be able to honestly make wise decisions for yourself. Okay. And what kind of, Doug Warren says, Dr. Smith lose his accent. What kind of accent do I have?
I don't think you have an accent at all.
Well, I'm, who knows? I've lived all over the country.
Oh, is it the celebrity Dr. Phil? Does he have an accent?
Oh, yeah. That Dr. Phil has an accent. That's probably what he meant. Yeah.
Oh, the Chicago Dr. Phil. Okay.
What accent does he have? Like Southern or what?
I can only hear the Dr. Phil accent that they play on Kill Tony now for you
have an accent for me though. All of you have accents. I don't.
Oh, that's
Anyway, I
true.
got
Lindy's
distracted by
Australian.
that. But Bella, I think you and Raymond and I are going to have a fun
Oh my gosh, I can't
talk,
wait.
and
Yeah.
you won't believe I'm going to review 76 studies very, very rapidly and show you how when you're making medical decision, how much bad literature is out there that you need to evaluate for pursuit of your health, because, and we see that in the carnivore community all the time. I mean, we have policy of some countries that we love dearly that are made on bad literature, and I'm going to have really honest conversation about my own journey, and I
Can't
think
wait.
it'll be a creative talk. It'll be
It's-
different.
It's going to be great. Yeah. Share screen's going to be enabled and everything. So I think it's going to change lives. Can't wait.
That's awesome. I can't wait.
Yeah. Let me just finish up with some final thoughts here. I am so grateful for all of these people here on the screen right now. And I don't think I would have made such great friends, like Jennelle included, who's like literally next to me in person. I've met some of the most amazing human beings I've ever met in my life, in my 28 years of life, because of Carnivore Diet. So I just want to encourage you all, keep coming to these live streams. If you guys need some more connection, you can hang out with all of these people. If you love the vibes happening tonight in these live streams, you get all of it in person, or not in person, through Zoom. So there's some more interaction there. It feels very different from just watching on your TV. You can actually talk to these wonderful humans. You can ask questions and learn. So yeah, I encourage you all to connect. Find a community, find your tribe. Love you guys. All links are down below in the description box. Okay? Okay, have a good night. See you next
See you
week.
next
Love you.
Friday.